thing?
Well, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I got distracted because I heard it like over there too, and I was just like, wait, what's going on? Hey, you guys, it's Friday night finally.
Yep. End of the work week.
My favorite time of the week. When I get home and I have a drink and we hang out with you guys.
Yep.
So, Oracle's waving at us. Hi, how are you? Got my new glasses today. See, look, for all of this time, Tom was trying to find these round glasses. Because I have a costume pair that are like these, and he really liked them. But they weren't reading glasses, so I could wear them and they looked cute and everything, but I couldn't see shit. So we looked for a very long time, like looking for glasses that were just like that, but were reading glasses, and we finally found some.
Finally found them at AliExpress.
AliExpress.
Yeah.
It took like a week or a week and a half to get here, but they finally got here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they weren't even that expensive, like $15.
No, they weren't even that. I think they were 11 something. So I might get another pair.
You're right. They had a lot of stuff to choose from on there too.
Yeah, I mean, they're cute. I like them.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, I don't know if they're exactly the same, but they're very, very similar.
Pretty close.
They're very, very similar. They're over there somewhere. No, that's not them. That's not them. Yeah, they're all over there somewhere. Yeah, I mean,
that may be exactly the same, huh?
Yeah, just about. Just about.
You see. A little bit different. This is flat across here, and then the bridge comes out on this one. Let me see.
Yeah, but other than that, it's kind of the same.
They're the same size.
They're the same size.
They're the same size, yeah.
Ben says, so all this time with those funky big glasses, you haven't actually been able to see us. No, the ones that are more cat eye.
Yeah.
These ones that I wear usually, these are readers, so I can see in these.
Yeah.
Like the big round ones, I didn't usually ever wear them on the show because I couldn't see in them, and that's why. So all of your comments would have just been a blur, but I wore them in photos and stuff like that, but I can't actually see in them. So that's why. Warby Parker is cheap as far as glasses go. I'll have to look on there. I didn't think it would be that hard to like find reading glasses that were shaped like this, that were just like big and round, but it was like really a bitch. I don't know why.
You really can't get them in the United States. You got to go to a foreign vendor.
I mean, they have like millions of other different kinds. I don't know why this was so. It's not that weird.
The ones you do find are costume.
Yeah, like I had. Yeah, like I found costume ones with, but I can't see in those. Oracle says, "Hey, Wednesday's show has had an unexpected sequel here. My husband grew up in Friendswood, Texas. Yeah, where that's where the Andrea Yates thing happened.
Yeah,
and his parents both worked for NASA." So I asked him if his dad was there when Rusty Yates was at JSC. He said he wasn't sure, but he and Rusty were in the Boy Scouts together. Wow.
Weird.
That's crazy. Like, does he remember him being like a weirdo or anything? Probably not. I don't remember hardly anything from my childhood, so I wouldn't really know. I mean, I don't remember anything. It was just nothing all that exciting happened, I guess. So... And I don't remember a lot of kids. I do remember going to school with a kid in first grade who many years later murdered somebody. He wasn't a serial killer or anything, but he murdered somebody. I can't remember what the circumstances were. And I only remembered him because he was a ginger and he had like a weird name. But I didn't remember anything else about him. You know what I mean? I thought he was kind of weird, but that was about it. Oracle said he remembers him being into good music like King Crimson. Oh, okay. Yeah, Boy Scout, what age would that have been? Were they like preteens or teenagers or whatever? Which tells you something about my husband's taste in music. I don't mind King Crimson, actually. But yeah. That's really, really crazy. I know we kind of like dunked on Rusty a lot, like on that show, but I don't really feel bad. I don't really feel bad. I'm sure like he's an okay dude and maybe he has a good life now and stuff like that, but he just contributed to that whole situation. Yeah, Oracle said, well, my husband made Eagle Scout. Damn. I was in the Girl Scouts when I was little. I didn't go that far in it, though. I just at the sold cookies and learned how to do knots stage. So he was a scout until he was about 17 or so. Dang. Yeah, some people... I had a cousin that stayed in, like, all that time. Gramthars says Streammate is a trip.
Yeah. He's been on Streammate?
I guess. Ugly trannies, wrinkled old porn stars, Colombians, constantly drinking. He has a lot of Colombian on there. And nap cams with tip vibe on, so randos can give money as someone sleeps. It's all weirdly fascinating.
Yeah.
Say, maybe I should get into that. I could just lay there and pretend to be asleep.
Yeah. Pretend like you're asleep. Yeah.
Every now and then, like, snore or something like that.
You fail to mention all the hotties that are on there, though. You must not be looking at the right times. You got fitness chicks in there.
You have to filter out.
You got to
like,
filter out
a lot of stuff.
Filter out Colombia, all the Central and South America.
Because there's a lot of them on there, so it'll be like 5 or 6 pages of Colombians, like before you even get to anybody else.
You got to. You only want the English speaking world. That's the first selection in the filter function. I don't even look at Europe or Eastern Europe because you're not gonna be able to interact with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we usually just stay with English speaking.
Yeah, just English speaking.
But
and if you go to English speaking, and all of a sudden it whittles it all down to where at any one time there's only like 2 or 3 couples on it in the English speaking world at any one time.
Yeah.
We get that couples action. Yeah, last time we streamed, man, it was a couple that was in there. That was a customer. He had me calling her name out and shit. Yeah, that was good.
Tuesday. We streamed Tuesday night. We didn't stream last night because I was too tired, and Tom was too tired.
Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of sleep.
We only streamed for about an hour. We profited probably about, what, $30 probably?
Something like that. Yeah, we were only on for like an hour, maybe an hour.
We're averaging about 20-25 an hour.
Which is not bad.
It's not bad. It's only like 2 customers. That's like fucking 10 minutes maybe, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you don't really have to do much because, like I said, if somebody goes private or exclusive, that's like $4.99, $5.99 a minute.
Yeah.
So, they're in there for 5 minutes. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to do all that much. They're just trying to, there's like, hey, do this or do that or whatever. And you just have to do something for like a few minutes and then you're done.
They're already fucking primed and ready to go by the time they press the fucking private button. They're not going to last long.
Well, yeah, because they don't
say something sideways and the motherfucker, oh, man, that was great. Okay, I'm done. And motherfucker.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of expensive, and if you aren't already ready, cock in hand, then it'll add up.
It's gonna add up.
So a lot of times, they're already ready.
Those dudes are fucking pre-gaming on you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then sometimes you're doing a show for one, and like 1 or 2 other ones will jump in and watch.
Yeah, because if you go private, like other people. Private just means like one person will pay for private, but then other people can like buy into it,
right? Yeah.
Too. But exclusive is just it's more expensive, and you just go.
Yeah, no one can buy.
No one else can buy into that.
And they can turn their camera on.
Yeah, we've only had that happen one time, like the first or second time we streamed. Like one person did.
I think it was your first customer, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. First or second, but like nobody else has really asked about or even seemed like they wanted to do it.
And it was just some 22-year-old kid.
Yeah,
he was normal.
Yeah.
Normal guy.
Well, like I said, it was like everybody watches porn. All dudes watch porn.
Yeah. It's a trip.
Yeah, Gramthars said for every hottie there are 10 not so much.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're getting action.
Yeah, everybody gets action pretty much. Because there's so many people on there.
Yeah, people forget that there's a certain kind of customer that really only wants to interact at that level with somebody kind of like at their level. So their customers look like them. They're about like that. Yeah,
I mean, you would think that, it was just like the hottest chicks or whatever that got the top. But not always. Not always. Because I'm always kind of interested, like, at different time periods, like, who are the top.
Who's at the top, right?
Because, they have it in order, like, whoever's getting the most action at that particular time, they're always, like, at the top of the list.
Move her to the top, right.
And she gets to the top. So it's like, but it's not always, like, the ones you would think that it was. You know what I mean? No. Which I always found really interesting. So
the ones in the top 10 in a busy, at a busy time, it's usually the girls that are hustling the most.
Yeah.
They're interacting a lot. They're talking a lot. And they're just fucking slamming out little fucking private shows. Fucking 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 3 minutes there. And they're making $90 an hour. Because, they're almost booked solid.
Yeah, because sometimes you click on the people and it's like, oh, they're leaving.
Yeah, and then they're back, and then they're in a private show, and then they're back, and they're just back and forth, and then dudes are buying in, and sometimes they're busy, so one guy bought the show, but then 3 or 4 other guys paid in, and she's getting $5.99 per person.
Right.
So that shit fucking adds up.
Like I said,
quick.
it adds up.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I just got the first check from there from our first week where we only streamed 3 hours, 4 hours, and it was already like $72. Yeah. So, and it's like, so we're sitting there going, well, shit. I mean, if we had time to like stream for 6 hours a day, like not all at once, but
you know, 2 and 2.
Yeah, you could do like 2 hours here, take a break, 2 hours there, take a break, or something like that. It's like you could like make some decent money.
See, Bill, my friend Bill, his wife, more than half of their income comes from StreamMate. She streams. Her name's Amy Quinn. She's a mid-level porn star. She streams about 30-ish hours a week, and she makes over 6 figures. It's 6 figures and some. Only on 30 hours a week, and right now it's summer, so it's slow. It's at basically kind of like a life support because there's not a lot of traffic. And he says he's never seen it go below $20 an hour, and that checks out with us.
Yeah, I mean, even when it's because Tuesday night it was kind of dead. We didn't really have that many people come in, but we still made $20, and we were only on for like maybe a little less than an hour.
Yeah, and you're not working for an hour.
No, you're mostly just kind of sitting there and like people are coming in.
Yeah, you got porn running in the background, trying to keep you in the mood.
Drinking.
We're fucking with each other and shit. You can't really see what's going on below the belt. And then all of a sudden, fucking customer starts talking to you, and then blink. And then I'll try to talk him. She doesn't really hustle. She's not a salesperson, but I'll talk him into turning.
I mean, that's your strength, not mine.
Yeah, you got to learn it.
I know, but I'm just not good at that.
And she's a little bashful, so I just. At times, I kind of play off of her being bashful, in the private. You know, once they go private, only that customer can see what the hell's going on in there.
Or only people that pay can see.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said only that customer, can do that. Now, if it's private, other people can buy in, but it's rare. If it's exclusive, nobody else can buy in, and he could turn his camera on.
Yeah.
But they tend not to.
Yeah, I've only had that happen one time.
And I think they pay extra.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I can't really, I don't know. There's nowhere where you can charge extra. I thought it was just a perk that came with...
Maybe, I don't know.
Private or exclusive.
Because I remember it asked us a question when it came to setting prices when we were setting up the channel. And it asked us how much we wanted for them to be able to turn on the camera.
I don't remember that question.
Yeah, I remember it. Because you were like, I don't know if I want them to turn on the camera. You left it 0. So I think it's free to turn on the camera.
Well, I'd have to go back in there and
find
that. Well, because I went in there to change the prices, but now I don't know where that original setup thing was.
Yeah, it was during when we first set up the profile itself.
But now I can't find it again,
right.
So I don't know.
And of course, videos on sale there. I imagine you probably picked up some videos while you were in there at the right Gramthars. Jen's got all her videos.
We need to put up. We need to make.
The problem is that because of the StreamMate rules, we can't post any of the material that has me in it, not even my voice, even though I can stream with her live. And I think we can even record the live streams.
Yeah, we can.
Well, if you record the live streams, can it be sold?
Not on there.
Not on there.
You can sell it elsewhere.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Well, this weekend we're going to set up many vids.
Yeah, and that'll have me on it.
And see how, and hopefully that's not a huge pain in the ass, but we're going to set that up because, and then we can sell, because as far as I know, StreamMate does allow you to sell the same videos on that site as you sell on other ones. Like, it doesn't have, exclusive rights on it or anything.
Yeah.
So I can sell the same ones that I'm selling on StreamMate, which are just me.
Right.
But then I can sell the ones that are both of us, too.
Some of the ones that are for sale on StreamMate will have better edits, more hardcore edits on mini-vids, and I'll be in it.
Yeah.
But there's some of them that she edited down too much that have to be opened back up. One of them that I'm thinking of, her best one, really. She cut the best parts of it out. I was like, why'd you do that? Because those are mistakes. And I was like, no, that's what the dudes are looking for.
Well,
Yeah, but that's just a mistake. Amateur mistake. She doesn't understand what guys like, really.
Thanks, Tom.
You don't. You don't watch porn.
Well, I do because you make me watch it all the time.
Well, you have to. It's your job now.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like I don't really mind watching it, to be honest with you, but sometimes it's different when it's you, though, because like sometimes when it's me, I'm just kind of like, I don't really like that angle, and I don't really like this and that and the other thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like critical. It's not so much that I don't think dudes like that. It's just that I personally don't like how it looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would take it out.
To the
because
eye
the
of a
thing
guy,
about it,
the
thing about it is that I would actually prefer to just shoot another one.
Yeah.
That I liked better.
We can
You
do
know
that
what
too.
I mean? Well, that's what I mean because
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, I could just shoot another one that I liked better.
What I was saying is some of the stuff you edited out looked fine from a guy's point of view. Just that you're too critical.
Well, yeah, because like I said,
'Cause
it's
it's
me,
you,
so
so
I'm gonna be like, obviously, I'm always more critical of myself than anyone else
Right.
is.
I wasn't seeing what you were seeing.
Right.
So it's just like
That's
no.
what I mean.
Right.
But that's true of everybody. Everybody's always more critical of themselves than other people are. Well, at least like I don't know, like creative people are for sure. Yeah.
You saying I'm not creative?
No, I'm just saying I'm just saying most people are critical of themselves.
Yeah.
Gramthars says, amazing how many performers are on there 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you make a lot of money if you're on there that much.
Yeah. They got bills to pay.
Right. And the thing about it is that, I mean, eventually we would like to get to a point where we can do, like I said, 6 to 8 hours, like a regular work day, kind of, but like break it up.
Yeah, you don't want to do it solid.
Yeah, and I don't want to do it like every single day, you know what I mean? Because I want to have days off and shit like that, because otherwise I'd go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But,
I would do 3 2-hour sessions or
something like that.
Or 4 2-hour sessions, something like that. Or maybe 3 3-hour sessions. That might work too. You do a morning, a middle of the day, and a late night version, and a late night one. It ends at 11.
Right.
9, 10, 11.
Ben says, have you quit your job yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. But
No.
not yet.
Had to make sure all the money was good and everything. The
Yeah.
timing has to be right.
Yeah.
When paychecks coming in and bills being ready, probably another month.
Now, I did take, because I had some paid days off.
Yeah.
So I did take some days off next week. Like, I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then I took Thursday, Friday, and the following Monday off. So hopefully we'll be able to stream more and like maybe make some more videos and shit like that, like on those days, because I'll be home all day. So I'll be home like 5 days in a row, which will be nice. So we'll see how that goes. Gramthars said, what is the red gizmo hanging from most performers' bottoms? It looks like a sci-fi tampon.
Oh, that's that damn wireless fucking vibrator. That's what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
because StreamMate and a lot of the other streaming sites have a thing where you can have interactive sex toys.
Yeah.
And you set it up through the platform, and people can tip you, and they have an app on their phone that controls your vibrator.
Yeah.
Like from their
That's what
house.
that is.
That's what that is. A lot of
Yeah.
people have those.
They make money off of them, but it's useless for us because we're a couple.
Yeah, I don't really think that
It would just be something
investing in one of those, because they're not cheap,
No.
those things.
That's something for a solo female performer.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Yeah.
more like along those lines.
Right.
But that's what that is. What is it called? It's called Love Sense or Lovense,
Love Sense,
Lovense or something like that.
Lovense.
But it's a particular kind of sex toy that's interactive, and you can. So people that are real hardcore into the shit download an app on their phone.
Amy's got one.
And then they tip you, and then like.
Amy's got one. She says Bill said that she said it's useless. It just makes money.
Well, yeah, that's
So
what I
dudes
mean.
gotta they pay to turn it on.
Right.
So they did the numbers, and they make several $1,000s a year off that.
And it's like
Dude's turning it on.
Well, yeah, the dude's
Yeah.
just gonna turn it on, and it's like
Yeah.
not.
Right.
You're not gonna be like, oh well, it's not really doing anything I particularly like, but
Yeah.
okay.
It's
what I
shaped
mean?
like an egg, and it's got a wire that comes around and it hits on her fucking button there, and fucking when it vibrates, the whole thing vibrates.
On her
But it
button.
it hits it on her clit. But it doesn't. Evidently, it's just not a big deal. According to Amy, it's just mostly annoying. But she's like, yeah, money, thank you. That kind of shit.
Yeah, I could see that. How that
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
really annoying. Because it's like just some rando dude being like
Yeah.
mashing the buttons on there. Yeah, I'm gonna like make her fucking scream, man, and you're just like, yeah, ooh, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like
Yeah.
that.
This is entertainment, man. It's a show. It's show business.
Yeah,
You're
that's
selling fantasy.
Sure, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, it's difficult, but there's a lot of tricks involved in it, and our show isn't totally 100% tight yet. That's what part of the reason why we don't stream for very long, because we'll go in and we'll try something and we'll say, yeah, that worked pretty well, and then we'll do it. It just helps you kind of like get the act down. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this. A bunch of different angles you can do it from, and you got to find out which one works best for you. So instead of wasting a whole day fucking doing something, we'll go on there for a couple hours and try a new angle and see how well that did. They're all about the same. Seems like no matter what you do, you're gonna make $20 an hour on if it's slow, but it's still worth it, because really out of that out of that hour, you might have gotten $10 worth of tips, just of shit that you did in public. We've had them just come in and says, "Tell me to give you money." Okay, give me some money, and they gave us some money. And then
Yeah, like a sub.
Like a sub.
They just wanted us to yell at them to give
yell
it.
at them and tell them to
So
give
we
money.
yelled at them that we wanted some money, and they gave us money.
And then,
So I'm like, wow,
I'll
easy.
talk bad. Yeah, I'll talk rough to him. You know what I mean? And like calling him a pig and shit, you little piggy. You know?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that person.
Yeah. So. So you're gonna make about $20-$25 an hour fucking on life support, but it's supposed to be more towards the winter, when people aren't out for the summer. People are more indoors. Evidently, the traffic picks up.
Well, yeah, because what?
What?
What's the matter?
No, you can't go in there. She hasn't go in the closet.
Oh, for heaven's sakes! She saw in there earlier. There's nothing in there.
No.
She's sitting by the door going,
what the fuck? What do you mean no?
I want to go in the closet.
But when it's good, if you're on a real roll, it's like $90 an hour. And maybe it's only because instead of 2 5-minute shows an hour, you're getting like 6. And other dudes are jumping in and watching.
Yeah, which, like I said, it's fairly easy money.
It's a casino-like environment.
Yeah.
You can you can do a different angle. Like you say, we're gonna have a gold show. And that's a show. And you're gonna say the show will be, and you can stipulate, and you're kind of like, you're telling the platform, okay, we're gonna start a gold show. We want the show to start. The countdown will be 20 minutes. It'll be 300 gold, and 1 gold is equal $1. So 300 gold, and it's going to be a 15-minute show, or 20-minute show, or a half-hour show. And during the show, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. All right. Countdown will start 40 minutes from now. So then it starts counting down, and guys will fucking see the show's going to start in 40 minutes. The show will start when they hit 300 gold. Everybody who pays in gets to see it. It's going to be a half hour long. All right. It's going to start in 40 minutes. So some guys will go, and if you don't start the show, he gets his money back. It's in his wallet. He's got a wallet inside StreamMate. So some guys will come in and go, yeah, okay, that's 15 minutes from now. Here's 30 gold. I'll watch that. And then they're waiting to see if you reach the 300 limit, the 300 goal. If you don't reach the 300 goal, it might be only 100 gold. You say, well, we're going to do the show anyway. And then the guys, there might be 3 guys that paid, came up with $100. They get to see the show. Now, the 100 gold, you don't get all that, because you only get 35%.
Yeah.
StreamMate takes the rest.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make $35 off that. So it probably wouldn't have been a good price really to do it for 100, but it'd be better than to let it walk away.
Yeah, I mean that's
So
$35 is better than $0.
Yeah, you can make $35 in a half hour. That's $60-something an hour.
Yeah, which is not bad at all.
$70 an hour.
It's a lot more than I make at my job.
Right.
So
And then you might do a couple of those a day. To add up.
We still haven't fucked around with the gold show yet. Like, we've mostly just been making money, just kind of sitting in the room, and like people just asking us like, hey, go private, and they want to see this, that, and the other thing, and it's just like 5 minutes or something.
What would make sense is something like a $500 gold show. You know what I mean? And you want to get like fucking 10 guys, each one paying $50, and it's going to be about an hour-long show.
Right.
And during that show, there's stuff that they can do. They can communicate with you in certain ways. I think some of them can turn cameras on and stuff. I have to go back and check what the rules are, or some of them can send audio. There's different rules for that. I gotta study more up on Gold Show. But they got some girls that just run that. Now, usually, the girls that run Gold shows tend to be famous porn stars, and sometimes they'll get 1,000 gold. But she's famous. Show's gonna start at an hour. It's gonna be a 2-hour long show. You know, she's gonna talk and fuck around and play with toys and interact with the crowd. It's not straight sex. It's not. You know, she might fucking dance and do a strip tease or playing with toys, or her husband or boyfriend who's passed through the ID checks can jump in and get her, or another performer. Sometimes it's 2 porn stars. If they're already approved to be on StreamMate, they can use the facial recognition and be on the same show together. If they know where they live, they can meet up and do it.
John Robertson said, hey, Jenny and Tom, not to change the subject. I had a question for you, Jenny. I wanted to ask your opinion how, with a vampire, can I have them have an aversion to crosses without it being religious? I'm trying to come up with a vampire novel, and Tom, I wanted your opinion too. I think I've read, and I can't, forgive me if I can't remember exactly what the details were. Yeah, I have seen some angles where they're like, well, the cross only works if the person wielding it has faith in it, and that's so much that.
And it could be anything.
But yeah, so it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cross. It could be anything that somebody has faith in.
It's mental domination.
Or I have seen it done too, where sometimes it's something else about the cross that repels the vampire, like what it's made of, or I don't know, just like the idea surrounding it or something like that. So you could maybe go that route.
Be more realistic if it was faith, because it's just mental domination and will.
Well,
you can get the vampire to go away because you want him to go away. That's in having faith in something having real strong faith in something, even if it's yourself or your own abilities, you'd be able to repel the motherfucker.
Well, that was kind of a component of Fright Night, from the 80s, 1985. Because he could actually just like crush a cross with his hand, the vampire could, if the person wielding it at him didn't have faith in it. But if you did actually have faith in it, then it would work. But otherwise it wouldn't.
Well, think about it, man. That vampire in the stories could look at you and mentally dominate you and tell you to do something, you would do it. So it stands to reason that's probably a weakness it may have too. You can flip it back. You can tell it to do something.
Yeah.
If your will is strong enough.
Yeah, that might be a good angle.
And the cross would just be kind of like a placebo.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a cross. Right. I think that like some stories have come at it from that angle, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't read a great deal of vampire stuff anymore because it's not really my favorite thing.
Remember when Bella looked at fucking Van Helsing? Goes, "Come here, come here." Like that. And he can't, and then he resisted. He goes, "Oh, you're strong." Well, what if you were fucking had a strong enough mind where you could look at Dracula and go, "Come here," and he can't resist it. He's okay. Shit, I gotta come. So it might go both ways, like a psychic link.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah,
but you had to be really psychically strong,
Yeah. Then Oracle said silver content of the cross. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think I've seen stories that it was done like that, where it had to be like what the cross was made of, like if it's made of silver or iron or something like that.
I'd go with the psychic angle.
Yeah, that would seem like a good, because like I said, it's been sort of done before, but
vampires have psychic abilities like mental domination, but they're also susceptible to it. That's how. That's
Like
the
if
angle
somebody else has.
if somebody else is
Right.
real mentally dominant, that they can fall prey to it. That's the way I would play it.
Camp Guy said, just watch the movie Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night Shyamalan one. I had been wanting to see that, not because it was M. Night Shyamalan, because his movies lately have been kind of sucky, but because I really, really liked the novel that it's based on, which was not called Knock at the Cabin. It was actually called The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, and it was a really, really good book. Now, so I wanted to see the movie, but then I kind of heard mixed reviews of it, and I was like, well, now I don't know if I want to watch it, because the book was so good, and I don't really know. I don't know, maybe I should watch the movie so I can do, like, a comparison, because I like to do, like, the novel to movie comparison, like, on my other channel, so maybe I'll watch it and see how it turned out. Although I'll probably have to reread the book again, because I don't remember exactly what happened, and it was a while back that I read it. But, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, the cross can help you focus your will. That's part of it.
Yeah,
Going through ritual, any kind of ritual, would help you focus your will. So by these same rules, of course, a Jedi would be able to fuck up a vampire. If the Jedi understood what a vampire was.
Has anybody made a Jedi versus vampires movie? I'm sure somebody has, right?
Well, there got to be vampires in the Star Wars movie, because a Sith is a witch, really. It's a warlock.
Yeah.
Basically. They're doing a lot of the same things that warlocks and witches would want to do. Live forever, bring back the dead, that kind of thing. And you could kind of say that maybe Darth Vader was a vampire in a certain way. Because I'm pretty convinced, based on what Darth Sidious had said about Darth Plagueis the Wise, and how Vader got nearly burned up and killed, and he sees him down and he goes, "That's good, it's not too late." And then later on, Vader tells Luke, "No, you don't understand the power of the dark side. I can't betray my master." It had to have been that he was keeping Vader from dying, and Vader was supposed to be dying, but the suit was helping to keep him alive, or kept him active. But I believe Darth Sidious, his master, was feeding him life force to keep him from dying. Now, so he was kind of feeding off of Darth Sidious in a way, like the way a vampire would, but more like a psychic vampire.
That's what I was going to say. It was more
Right.
like psychic vampire.
Now, you might say, well, wouldn't that weaken Darth Sidious if he's got to give up some of his force essence or his soul to keep Vader alive? And I say, well, I think what happened is that he sucked the soul out of Padme. That's why she died. And he was feeding
Vader
Padme's soul somehow.
Yeah,
Slowly.
that actually makes a lot of sense.
He gained
when you put it
an
that way.
additional life from Padme and kept it somehow in spiritual storage, and then was feeding it through him into Vader. He had an extra life, and he was slowly feeding it out. So Vader couldn't betray him. He'd cut him off from being fed this life force, and he would have died. That's why when he killed Sidious, and fucking Luke says, "Let me take this mask off," and he goes, "Take this mask off." And Luke says, "Yeah, but you'll die." And he says, "Nothing can stop that now," and it's because Sidious was gone.
Right.
Sidious was keeping him alive, and he slowly just faded away, died away. So that's the only explanation. It's the only thing it could have been.
Yeah, like I said, that makes total sense, actually.
Yeah. So, and that's like something a witch would do in a witch story. Yeah, I'll give you life and keep you from dying, but I gotta have a life to rob. A soul to steal, and I'll feed you that soul over time. So I think that's what happened to Padme. Because the robots couldn't explain why she was dying. They said she's slipping away, she's dying. We don't know why.
He took all her fucking energy, man.
Yeah,
all her life energy.
Sidious was sucking it out of her fucking from long distances. He could invade your dreams and have you have nightmares of his choice and stuff. He knew what was going on remotely. He had remote knowledge. Well, he could kill somebody by thinking about it, steal their soul remotely also, if you were susceptible.
Man, that would be a really dangerous power for me to have, that's for sure.
That's why there were only two. There couldn't be a whole bunch of Sith. They'd kill each other. So there's only 2.
It's like, I'm thinking you dead. No, I'm thinking you dead.
Yeah.
It'd be that whole situation.
Well, they'd all be vying for power.
Well, yeah.
And in the Sith system, there was only 2, a master and an apprentice. And the master's job was to make an apprentice and to give him only the powers he needed to complete his missions. And then the apprentice's job was to learn as much as he could from the master and eventually kill him and take his place. And that was like on purpose. That was the stated purpose of those 2. So they weren't friends really in the way you would think the word friend. The Sith student was a slave actually. And his job was to get stronger and to get free and to kill his master. And then do the same thing to somebody else. Make an apprentice. There couldn't be any more than 2. Or they fucking cause all kinds of damage and they'd all kill each other. Because they were going to kill each other anyway. That's what their job was. There's the struggle for dominance. But it only took 2 of them to destroy the entire fucking Jedi Order and fucking take over the damn known galaxy which is goes back to what I've told you many times on this show, is that evil is stronger than good. And it says that right there in Return of the Jedi when Luke is being trained by Yoda. He's running with little Yoda on his back, and he goes, fear and anger, don't give in to the dark side. He says, yeah, but the light side's good, isn't it? And he goes, no, clear your mind. Don't ask any questions. So that's a trick answer from Yoda. The light side is stronger than the dark. He says, no, clear your mind. Don't ask questions. See, no, the dark side was stronger. It was because it was about destruction. It's harder to create things than it is to destroy things, even though creation and destruction are the same act. It's just, if you create a house, you got to destroy trees, that kind of things. So, but, no. Just 2 Sith fucked up all those damn Jedi, just through treachery. Treachery is a lot more effective. Lies are far more effective than the truth. And it's stated over and over again. This is all Buddhist philosophy and Friedrich Nietzsche, Arthur Schopenhauer. They talk about all this, that truly talented evil is fucking much stronger than good.
Oracle says, hey, has anybody else here seen the Renfield movie? Ben said, I have. Silly fun. And Oracle said I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And Tammy said she really liked it. I still have not watched it. I really need to because it looks amazing. And let me see. Oh, and Ben said, I like the vampires in the Necroscope books, where they're ancient alien things that live underground and infect people to try and eat them later on. Necroscope, that was Brian Lumley, right? I don't think I've read those, actually. If I did, then it was a very long time ago. Like I said, I used to be real into vampire stuff, like when I was a teenager and in my 20s and stuff, like especially like after I read Anne Rice, like back in the 80s, and then I got real into vampire stuff, but I don't know. I just haven't read a lot of vampire stuff. And it's kind of, sometimes I'll like pick out a book. If you watch my book reviews, you've seen this happen probably a couple times. But it's like sometimes I'll pick out a book at random without realizing it's a vampire book, and then I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, it's vampires. Like I'm always kind of like bummed out about it because vampires are not really my favorite monster. I'm more into, I like haunted house stories. I really like haunted house stories, ghost stories. I really like old school witch kind of shit. And like weird, surrealist, psychological horror. So anything that's like monsters is like a harder sell for me, depending on what kind of monster it is. But if it's one of the like regular monsters, like vampires or werewolves or something like that, I'm like not as into that, just because everything's been done, I feel like. So I'm always kind of like looking for something that hasn't been done. But I have read a lot of good vampire shit though. Like I read one a couple years ago that I actually didn't know was a vampire book going into it, and then I was like, oh, vampires. But I was like, oh, but it's still good though. And it was called Dark Corner by Brandon Massey, I think was the name of the author. And that was actually pretty good, and that was straight up vampires. Oracle said, oh, I have haunted house recommendations for you, Jenny. A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting to read that because I've read some of T. Kingfisher's other stuff, and I really, really liked it. So that will probably be next on my list. I think the one I'm putting up tomorrow, if I get a chance to record it, is another Grady Hendrix book, because I finished reading that this week, called We Sold Our Souls. And then I bought Slewfoot by Brahm, and so that'll probably be the next book review. I haven't started it yet because I just finished the other one, but so that might be the next book, probably like in a week or two. But I have some nonfiction stuff too that I got to read, but I haven't got around to it yet because I just don't have a lot of time. But you know what I mean. Yeah, Oracle said it's good. Yeah, I've really liked T. Kingfisher's other stuff that I've read, because I've read like a couple of theirs. But yeah, and if it's a haunted house thing, and it's like funny because haunted house stuff, there's like a million haunted house books and haunted house movies and stuff like that. But man, I don't know why, it's just like my favorite, probably my favorite subgenre of horror. I think is just like creepy, paranormal haunted house stuff, because it's, I don't know, it's hard to mess that up. It's hard to mess that up. Because everybody can relate. Like, most people live in a house, except for homeless people, sadly. But most people live in a house, and it's like, you can relate to, it's like, oh, this is my house where I think it's my safe space and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, like, all this fucking crazy paranormal shit starts happening. You're like, oh shit, I don't have anywhere to escape to. So it's like, that's inherently scary. And it's inherently scary to most people because they can relate to it. You know what I'm saying? Oracle says, if you hadn't heard, by the way, T. Kingfisher has been diagnosed with breast cancer. Oh, shit. But she's handling the treatment okay. Man, that sucks. I had the feeling that she wasn't that old, but I don't really know, like, a lot about her, to be honest. Because I've only read a couple of her things, but yeah. Ben says, the main character, the Necroscope, can channel the spirits of the dead to get advice, and even get them to take over his body to do fights or stunts for him. Oh, that would be handy. I've just been listening to, I know some of you guys like to listen to like scary stories and stuff like that, like on YouTube, because I like to listen to them while I'm driving and stuff, because they're relaxing. And, I really like this guy named B-Busta, who is, I guess he's Australian, like his accent sounds Australian. And I like his stuff because he'll put up like 3-4 hour videos, and they're usually compilations, like just of a bunch of stories that he got from, No Sleep subreddit or whatever, or that people have sent him. But I listened to one over the past couple days that was actually one big long story, and it was like 3 or 4 hours long, so it was almost like a novella length. And I don't know what the title of it was, and I don't know who wrote it, but the thumbnail said something like, I think my grandfather is a serial killer. And so I started listening to that one, and that, holy shit, that was a great fucking story. What a great fucking story that was. It was like really, really well written. And it's just, I don't know, man, it was just like really good. And I'm like, I can't believe that I'm imagining that somebody wrote this big long thing. Because like I said, it's 3 or 4 hours, like it took him to read it. And they wrote this big long thing, and I'm presuming that they just like put it up for free somewhere. I'm like, they need to make a movie out of this shit. This is great. You know what I mean? Like, I got really into it. So I'm going to have to listen to like some of his more long ones. Because usually I'm just kind of like, well, I'm driving, and it's like, I kind of like the shorter ones because then I don't have to like go back to it and I'm like, oh yeah, what happened again? Like, because I, can't listen to it all at once. But I'm really glad that I listened to that one because it was really fucking good. But it took me like 3 days to like listen to it, just going back and forth. Oracle said she's about your age. Oh, 46, so she's younger than me. Oh shit, that's scary. Breast cancer at 46. But I mean,
I've been checking. There's no lumps.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Checking the breast cancer.
He's a fucking mental shiatsu and shit.
He's mental shiatsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, we do have friends that are my age. We have a friend that's my age, maybe a year or two older, that got breast cancer.
Yeah. She was Minnie Mouse, one of the Minnie Mouse.
She's doing okay though.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a while. She hasn't been out, but
yeah.
We see her boyfriend all the time because he works at Barbarella.
Yeah, she used to work. She used to work at Disney.
Yeah.
She was one of the Minnie Mouse's, little bitty, or Mickey Mouse. I think she was the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, she's a little tiny woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had to go through all that shit. You know, sucks, man. I'm just kind of like, I know I'm getting to that age, but I'm just kind of like, man, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. You know what I mean?
You don't have any signs of any kind of illness. You're in good shape. You got good genes, man. Nothing even happened to your mom.
Yeah. She had a minor heart attack.
Yeah.
A couple years back.
Southern diet.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
Yeah, and she doesn't work out like you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, we've kind of always been, me and my siblings, we've always been somewhat healthy. Actually, when I was growing up, even when I was a kid, I hardly ever got sick. Like even other people in my family would get it, like, oh my god, I got the flu, or I got chicken pox, or something like that.
I've never seen her get sick.
I would get it for like a day, and then it'd be like, man, and then it would go away, and I'd be like, and they'd be like, man, you suck. I haven't gotten the flu. I don't even remember the last time I got the flu. I don't even remember the last time I had a cold. 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Something.
You're talking about genes and longevity. Genetics are a factor, because if you have bad genes in terms of like a lot of history of cancer and diabetes and stuff in your family, you really got to watch it. It means you're very susceptible.
Now, there's a lot of diabetes on my dad's side of the family, for sure.
Yeah, but was there also obesity?
Not so much on my dad's side, no.
Because obesity's part of it. Me and Soph were going over this a couple days ago, doing research, talking about aging, and what we were talking about is like, why is it women tend to fall off faster than guys? Look at George Clooney. Look at George Clooney when he was a kid, and look at him now. That motherfucker's I would say he's probably more attractive to a woman now than what he was when he was a kid on that program. Was it Facts of Life or something? What was the name of that show he was on?
Oh shit, now I can't remember. Yeah, he was on some shit. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He was on one of them 80s shows.
And then you look at starlets that he came up with who were like real hot on Baywatch. Not necessarily Pam Anderson, but like some of the women that worked with her. One of them that I was thinking of, that I was looking at, is younger than you. She just turned 50. She looks like shit. Looks like shit. It's hard to believe.
And it's weird because, like, I'm not even famous, and I don't even have, like, access to plastic surgeons or nutritionists or anything like that.
You have me as a trainer a little bit. You have access to some things. Hormones and stuff.
Yeah, but nothing
you were in
like...
good shape before that, basically. You know, you were in pretty good shape. Both of our weights would go up and down over the years, but still until.
It's because of your good cooking, Tom.
Yeah, that was me fucking eating my ass off.
Well,
feeding her.
You made everything really, really good. I mean,
Yeah.
tonight he made enchiladas, and that shit was delicious.
Yeah. And I used Claudia's recipe.
Yeah, this is the first time he made them. Oh my god, they were so good.
Yeah. It's a good channel. It got recommended to me by my Mexican friend, fucking Con of Atzlan. He's sometimes in the comment section. I've showed him and his handsome ass sons, man. His sons look like fucking Hollywood movie stars. And he lives down in Tijuana. And we talk outside the show a lot. And it's been years now, hasn't it? Known him for probably 8-9 years now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
We'll talk about food, and he'll send me pictures of Mexican girls' asses and shit. We're judging the assology. Jenny knows what it is. She's like, "What the fuck you looking at?" And fucking, it's
I'll like glance
ass.
over, and it's just a big picture of some chick's ass on there. I'm just like, okay.
Connor's like, "What do you think of that one?" You know,
Here we go.
we're doing. It's assology, the study of the female
Assology.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm gonna make you a degree. That says that you can hang on the bedroom wall.
Boobology, assology.
Doctor of assology.
Assologist. So he goes, "There's this girl who's cooking, and she's teaching in English. She does the shows in English. Her name is Cooking con Claudia. Con, C-O-N, means with in Spanish. Cooking con Claudia, and it's on YouTube. I recommend it. And he says all those recipes are very modern Mexican recipes, and that I can trust her palate and the way she does shit. And she has a lot of Instant Pot recipes. And she had Instant Pot enchiladas last week. And I did them, man. They're fucking good. Even though I didn't use beef. I had a pork shoulder. Or pork butt. That's what I had. I had a pork butt. And I just used that. I just pressure cooked it an hour and 20 minutes in salt water with a half onion in it. Man, that pork came great.
It really came out good.
Pour it. Then you pull it. And then you take the water or the drippings from the pork butt, which is not a butt, it's a shoulder, I believe, or up around the neck.
I always wondered why they call it a pork butt. It's not
it's
not a pig butt.
Yeah.
It's not a butt.
So take that water that's in that pot, turn it on simmer, and you put peppers in there. I had a bunch of fresh peppers. I had some serranos, and I had some jalapenos, and I had just some other red peppers that I had, and dried red Mexican chilies, and put those in the water and simmer it with an onion and some garlic in there. No, not the garlic. And it had an onion in there. And then scooped all of that stuff, about 20, 30 minutes, to scoop all those peppers out and put them in a big, I had them in a 1 gallon pitcher. Put them in there, and I put about 6 cups of the broth that came out of the cooking pot in there and blended it with an immersion blender. And that's what I made my enchilada sauce out of. That's the way Claudia made it. Man, shit was good. Now, it wasn't quite red enough for me, so I squirted a bunch of damn ketchup in there. You're like, what, ketchup? What the fuck? Yeah,
I mean, why not?
Trust me. Trust me. It's tomato paste.
Yeah, that's all.
It's got a little bit of vinegar in it. But
and sugar.
But it cooks out, and it's got sugar, but sugar is great with salt. And sugar's great with salt and hot chilies. It gets rid of a lot of the acidic flavor. And tomato ketchup, and I use Heinz, it's got red dye in it. So it'll make any of your sauces get brighter red, and nice red color. And anyway, that was the enchilada sauce. You take the corn tortillas and put them in hot oil. Don't cook them all the way. Leave them blonde and flexible. Pull them out and just start stacking them up. Then you put meat, cheese in them, roll them, put them in a glass pan, pour all that enchilada sauce on top of cheese on top of it. 425 degrees, about 15 minutes, and it comes out just fucking gorgeous.
I mean, they were really good.
Damn.
They were really
served
good.
with sour cream.
Yep, really good.
Beans and rice on the side. Or, refried beans and yellow rice. I didn't serve that, but that's what it should have come with. But I had to keep the calories down.
Well, yeah, it was good like that.
Yeah, it's good just like that.
Because like I said, I'm trying not to overeat. Mm-hmm. And the shit, that's what I mean. It's like the stuff you make is so good that it's like I just want to eat and eat and eat, and I just can't. I really have to not do that. You know what I mean? Because I'll weigh 400 fucking pounds.
Yeah. So I forgot. This is what I was getting at. You're talking about Clooney.
This is like a very circuitous route, but we're coming back to it. Me and Soph we're looking at this and looking at, and we were talking about it, look at how bad the women aged. But then you can pull up other examples of women that age real well, and you can look at the difference. You can see the difference. Yeah, I don't really think it's a man-woman thing, because there's
it's
bunch
behavior.
There's a bunch of male actors that you see that look like ass too,
right.
like when they get older.
The main difference, the reason why a lot of guys age better, is because the ones that age well are not living sedentary lifestyles. They're working out. They're actors that work out. They take hormone supplements. They got a good diet. And they're staying away from drugs. Okay? If a woman just tries to keep a girlish figure through diet, not doing anything, that's not going to work. You must, at least later on in life, after 30, you got to start getting in the damn gym. Or, because I can look at a person the way I look at fucking thoroughbred horses. You can see the loss of definition in certain areas and what's happening, the muscle atrophy, just the way fat distribution starts piling on women in the areas. You can't just coast after 30 and expect to keep a good figure with just diet alone, be it any kind of diet. It's got to have exercise. The dudes that, and then you go look at the women who look fantastic. There's always diet and exercise involved. It's just that in general, women don't like to exercise. They definitely don't like to lift weights, and that's the most effective one. Women that lift weights, not necessarily bodybuilders, but just women that lift weights last a lot longer and they look better a lot longer. And I got examples of them in their 60s and 70s that lift. They never really got massive. They didn't become mass monsters. That wasn't the idea. They just were just doing resistance training. And it just makes a world of difference because you get definition and muscle tone, and it causes hormones to be produced like HGH. It can naturally be produced through exercise. And it can help the endocrine system kind of keep up. There's limits to it. You know, old people just don't make enough hormones. But if you supplement those hormones, it starts paying back dividends. All them guys that look fucking great after 40 and 50, they're all on fucking HRT, testosterone replacement. They're just replacing what was lost or fucking taking a lot more than what was lost. It's just obvious to me now. And that most of those guys are fitness guys or actors. You know, like leading man type. Tom Cruise is definitely on shit. He's on test.
Well, he's got to be doing all the shit.
Oh yeah, he's on test
at his age.
Hell yeah, he's on HRT. He's not sitting there trying to use fucking Scientology, fucking mental powers to fucking keep his testosterone production up. He
Because
knows
if he was, then nothing would be happening.
Nothing would happen. He's injecting
because
testosterone.
those powers are not real.
Yeah, he's with the OT powers. He's not using OT powers to keep his testosterone levels high. He's injecting it.
Ben said, "Got to go out now. Have a great weekend and don't stream too hard."
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You have a great weekend too. Yeah, we'll probably stream sometime this weekend. But we'll see how it goes. Oh, that was another thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh, Camp Guy said I've seen her videos, cooking con Claudia.
Yeah.
She's good. I love my immersion blender, he says.
Yeah. Immersion blender. I mean, I don't know how
it makes great soup.
Makes good everything. I can't believe that I lived without one of those.
Yeah, that's definitely like a good thing to have in your kitchen.
It'll make anything, man. You can make ice cream with it.
Yeah. You make all kind of shit with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing we were going to discuss. Was that we are thinking about not doing the haunting shows anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe moving the movie review to Monday.
Yeah. We're going to take a break on the haunting shows. They're not getting a real good response. We don't make anything on them. And they're starting to get kind of samey.
Yeah, and it's kind of a pain having to watch them and like take notes on them and shit.
We can always revisit it, but we might.
I still want to do movie reviews though because you guys seem to like those, and we like doing those, and you know people still send us movies and stuff like that. So I thought maybe we should move the movie review to Monday night, like where the haunting is now, like instead of doing it on Sunday.
We can do that
because then that way, I don't know. Should we do it this weekend? I guess.
No, I don't know.
Whatever. He doesn't care.
I don't care.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But I don't know. Like I said, we might bring back a haunting at some point, but we've done a lot of the episodes that were good.
Yeah.
And
we're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Kinda. And we're getting into the later ones where like we are gonna have to pay for them. You know.
Yeah. What I mean? They're not that good. They're not as good as they were.
Right.
And well, they're just not getting a really good response either.
Yeah.
People watch them, but you know whatever.
I mean, I do kind of feel like and particularly with the main shows on Wednesday, I feel like true crime is always going to be more of a draw.
Yeah.
Than paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
I know some people do like the paranormal stuff. We're not going to stop doing paranormal stuff. It's just that
whenever you start talking about serial killers, there's a big fucking spike in our numbers.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. I like talking about true crime stuff more than paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the paranormal stuff is fun too, but I don't know. I'm just way more into true crime, and I think more people are like into true crime than they are paranormal.
Plus, we got to free up hours for our other fucking pursuits.
For our other pursuits.
Yeah.
Like I said,
things that make money.
It'll be easier when we go, when we start doing it like more full time.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, we're gonna. I'm
trying to get Jenny back in the house.
Yeah, so we have more time here to do it because it sucks because now it's like not only do I work full time but I also have a commute which is 1 hour each way, so that's another 2 hours that I waste every day like in the car, so that I could be doing something else.
Yeah, like making fucking $25 an hour fucking on down.
Right.
Stream me.
And then, like, usually by the time I get home, I'm just so fucking wiped out.
Right.
Because I don't get much sleep because I have to get up at 5 in the morning. And I try to go to bed early, but that doesn't always work out. You know what I mean? Because I have other shit to do.
Yeah.
And I have freelance shit that I do, too. Like, I usually have a lot of that, like, over the week.
She's commuting 2 hours a day doing shit that she could do from home. But they won't let her do it from home. It's added frustration.
Yeah.
Everything they're having you do, you could do from here. You
I know.
could fucking telecommute.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, like I said, during COVID, everybody there worked from home.
Yeah.
But then they transitioned to working back in there. I don't know why.
Well, they're going to get a notice.
Tammy says...
You're their best one. They're going to get a notice. I guarantee you they're still going to throw work your way.
Yeah, maybe.
How much
but like I said, I have so much
stuff that you
freelance stuff anyway that it's just kind of like... I get, like, a lot of that every week, too.
Yeah.
So... I was telling him, I was like, sometimes I just feel like I get kind of like overwhelmed because it just seems like so much stuff just like piling on my head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Tammy says, so no Sunday show. Yeah, we might actually move the movie review to Monday night, I think. Because then that way we'd have all weekend to like do our other shit. I don't know.
I would say yes.
Either that, or we could still do the movie review on Sunday and not do anything on Monday, and then just do Stream 8 on Monday. It's up to
Monday's
you.
probably worse than Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday, we streamed on Sunday this week, right? This past Sunday we did Stream 8, and it actually wasn't bad. Tuesday was pretty dead, but we still made some money.
See, the thing is that we're streaming at the worst times. According to Bill, the best time is damn near morning.
Right.
It's evidently not that good at night. Those guys are out.
Right.
Yeah. People that have money go out and do shit.
Well, yeah. Must be nice.
Yeah.
But
dudes do have money.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. It's like, well, like I said, if we could get into it full time, then we wouldn't have to do it early in the morning because I still got to get up and put all the makeup on and all that kind of shit.
I think you overdo it though.
Well, I have toned it down some.
Yeah.
Because, man, I used to... The first times we did like a whole outfit and like fucking fake lashes and all that kind of crap.
They're not that picky.
But yeah, that's what I mean. After a while, I was just kind of like, well, they're really not that discerning. So it's like I still do wigs and like cool outfits.
Yeah,
and stuff,
that's all you need. Wig, cool outfit with a lot of easy access, and this shit just gotta look slutty. That's it. Jenny tries to look nice, and I'm like, that kind of works for them, but they're gonna prefer slutty. You know. Which is a lot easier to do. Just a look fucking party dress type thing. That's it.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, that's why we kind of like bought a lot of the stuff on Shein because a lot of that stuff was kind of looked cool, but was, like you said, easy access.
Yeah, real stretchy. And you can pull things. I don't know. It's got to be real minimalist.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're just looking at the fucking hair and the face. And really, you don't really need the lashes and things like fucking contact lenses don't matter because they can't really see that.
I mean, I like having those for photos,
just
like
photo
for the
and
photo
video.
shoots, and like I like the lashes for the photo shoots. But the thing about it is that when we stream on Stream 8, it's like I still have to have the glasses on so I can see everybody's comments and like what they're asking us to do and stuff like that. So I have to wear the glasses, and it's like so when I wear fake lashes, I have a hard time wearing the glasses because the glasses like hit the lashes because the lashes are big. Yeah. So it's always easier like not to wear them. And then the thing about I like the way they look, but then like the glue is like stuck in my lashes for like 2 days afterward. And it's like so there's like all this fucking glue like stuck in there.
Yeah, Tammy's like they're not looking at your lashes anyway. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're seeing everything through the lens of through the lens of a webcam. We're not. We don't have 4K. We got to get a new webcam though. I want that webcam.
Yeah, we haven't talked. We found one on Amazon that has like a ring light attached.
Yeah,
and I think it's only like $60 or $69 or something like that.
That would make things
a really good one.
That would make things a lot easier if there was a light on it.
Yeah, so we didn't have to.
Yeah, grab it, fucking go POV and shit. They ask for fucking camera angles and everything. Dudes.
Yeah, I mean they're very specific.
They know what they want. Yeah, they want. I want doggy POV from the back. This and that. Okay, yeah, fine, bro. I know exactly what he's talking about. Tell her I want JOI. Okay, all right. Give him JOI. What's that?
I didn't actually know what that was. Well,
Yeah,
once
yeah.
you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that
yeah,
before.
yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the middle of something else, and I was just
Right.
kind of like, it. You know, shit's coming at me, and I can't like think of
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
that
yeah.
fast. You know what I mean? Like it didn't occur to me what that was. So I don't know. And then it was kind of difficult too because I had high-heeled shoes on.
Yeah, which was a mistake.
And that was, well, I told you
Yeah.
it was a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't really like wearing those
Yeah.
because
They can't see him anyway.
they can, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They can't see my feet anyway,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like, look, if we're trying to like do some complicated shit, like if somebody goes private
Yeah.
and stuff like that, I'm just gonna fall over on my goddamn face,
Yeah.
and that's not gonna look real sexy, is it?
The velvet goth boots worked though.
Yeah.
Those were, because you had those on camera a couple times. They liked them.
Anything that's kind of flat,
It's got to be flat. Yeah.
because I'm, you
Yeah.
know,
Flat sole. Flat.
because I can't,
platform.
like I said, I can't be teetering around in those
Yeah.
fucking. I'm gonna break my ankle or my
Yeah.
neck or something, like trying to do all this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that kind of crap. So, what? I could use some more ice, actually.
Okay.
Or actually, maybe like more.
Make another drink.
Yeah. It's not quite empty, but
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sore.
Man, I'm really looking forward to having some days off next week. Because I thought to myself, look, it's like we're gonna try and do this Stream8 thing full time eventually, like maybe in the next month or so. So I'm kind of like, well, the job I work at, they do a thing where, you know, you accrue, and a lot of jobs are like this, I know, well, like where you accrue PTO time, like for however many weeks you work there, like they give you, what is it, like 1 hour for every week you work there or something like that. So I've been there long enough that I accrued like 25 hours, and I was like, well, shit, that's like 3 days. So, I mean, I might as well take it because I'll get paid for those 3 days, and I don't have to drive all that way, and I'll save gas money. So that'll be nice. It'll be like having a 5-day weekend. Looking forward to that. And then tomorrow, I'm actually not sure like what time, but tomorrow my sister is coming down from Atlanta again, and she has like the Disney annual pass. She loves Disney, so she comes down every few months or something and like does all the parks and stays in one of the resorts and all that kind of stuff. So she's actually flew down today, and she's staying with my brother, my youngest brother. I actually have 2 brothers, but staying with my youngest brother over in Daytona. So she's gonna go to Magic Kingdom tomorrow, but she said like in the afternoon, evening, she was gonna go to Disney Springs. So I might go and hang out with her there. Hopefully my brothers can show up too, because that's always really fun when you get all 4 siblings together. But Disney Springs is good because I told her, I was like, I can't. As much as I would love to go to like the parks with her and stuff like that, because that'd be a blast, I can't really afford it at the moment because it's kind of expensive. We are planning on, because she's going to come down again like right around my birthday, like at the end of September. So we were kind of planning on doing the Halloween Disney thing, because we did it last year. Like she actually bought me a ticket to go, and we had such a good time. It was so fun. So we're kind of planning on doing that again, and like at least one of my brothers is thinking about coming along too, and maybe his wife, not sure. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. So like, well, I'll save up money for that, but I can't really afford to go to the parks now. But Disney Springs is like, it's basically like a huge open air. It's not really like a mall, kind of, but it's just like a big like entertainment. There's a big AMC theaters there. It's like restaurants and bars and just all kind like shops and just all kind of stuff. And you can just like walk around and look at everything, and it's pretty fun. But like I said, it's, you know, you can just go there and not spend a huge amount of money. You know, you can just go and have some cocktails and hang out, like sit by the water and shit like that. So that's maybe what we'll do tomorrow. We'll see what time, because like I said, she said she was going to the park, and I don't know how long she's going to be there. I think she's going with my sister-in-law, and then they're going to be there she said she was going in the morning, and she had all this stuff planned, so I don't know if it'll be evening. Maybe Tom will go with me, we'll see. But it should be fun. I always like hanging out with my siblings. Like I said, I have 3 siblings, and they're all younger. Like, I have a brother that's 4 years younger. My sister is 7 years younger. And my other brother is 14 years younger. Yeah, because he was born in 86. 86. Yeah. But despite that large gap in our ages, like I said, we're all very, very similar. So when we all hang out together, it's always like a good time. I think the last time we did that, we all got together at Disney. We all ate at, what is that, like, Polynesian? We all ate at the Polynesian. I think that was around Christmas time, because there was, like, all the gingerbread houses and shit like that. But that was really fun. Yeah, we ate at the Polynesian for no, it was November, because it was my sister's birthday. And her birthday is the end of November. But that was, like, super fun, because we had... It sucks, because I don't get to see my siblings as much as I would probably like to. Like, my sister lives in Atlanta. My other brother lives in Daytona, which, I work there, but he works too, so I don't really, he's an electrician. And then my other brother lives out in the middle of nowhere, like in Ocala, by my mom. And we just never go over there, because I'm always scared to drive over to Ocala, because there's, like, no cell phone service over there, man. It's, like, the middle of nowhere. So it's, like, whenever I have to go visit my mom and shit like that, I'm always, like, scared that it's, like, my car's gonna break down on the way back, and it's gonna be nighttime, and because there's, like, nobody around. There's no lights, there's no cell phone service, there's no nothing. I'm like, it's like a fucking horror movie waiting to happen. They live out in fucking Ocala National Forest. Yeah, I'm laughing at Tammy saying nobody looking at my eyelashes anyway. I mean, the thing about it is that, I don't know, I like the way the eyelashes look, because it does actually, like, give you a whole other appearance, really.
Yeah, the thing is, there's a big difference between producing video and streaming.
Right.
Streaming is a lot more...
Yeah.
We call it field expedient.
Well, yeah, like I said, after a couple of times, I was just kind of like, this is just too much, because I need something I can wear that I can, like, move around in freely, that's not going to be, like, catching on everything.
You have to be it's theater. It is still theater. I like, for those of you who don't know me, I did have me and Gramthars, we went to a little theater school together. We were kids. It's theater what you're doing, if you're doing it right. And just like any other theater, like black box theater, you could be asked to do any role or anything at any time. There's no preparation. Just whatever that customer wants. He says, "Can you guys do this and this? And I want to see this." And you're negotiating. You're going, "Yeah, we can do that. We can do that." So what you're wearing may not be suitable for what they're talking about. You have to wear things that are very basic. They have to look good. They have to be, what the customers, something that will attract a customer, but they can't be overcomplicated. And because you never know exactly what they're going to ask you, and you can say, and it's not anything crazy. It's just that, we can do that, but I just can't do that right now. I don't have the right shoes on. It has to be something like that. It's a lot like theater.
Yeah, and it's better, especially if we're going to be streaming for a long time. It's better to just have something like that you're kind of comfortable in. Yeah. Because you do have to kind of move around a lot, and like you said, you don't really know what nobody asks for anything like insane, or it's usually like along the same lines of shit. Yeah. But you never know. Every now and then somebody gives you a curveball, but
and it's not something you wouldn't do. It's just that you didn't think of that.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh shit, maybe.
Yeah, we've been asked to do shit, and we're like, no, we're not gonna do that.
Well, like I said, that's kind of the nice thing about it is that you don't really have to do anything you don't want to do. Like, people can come in and ask, hey, do you do this? And you can just be like, nah. Like, if you don't want to do it, they can just go someplace else. And, like, there's thousands of other people on there.
The most common thing that you got to say no to is they ask for anal stuff.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of preparation and fucking...
it's like, I'm not gonna do that.
And they're talking about a fucking 5-minute show that you're gonna make fucking, $7-8 off of in 3 minutes or something, or 5 minutes something. You don't want to get involved in some fucking bullshit like that for that amount of money.
I mean, if we were gonna be on, if we were gonna be on for like hours, and we knew that
like a gold show was coming, and
right?
It was
like I feel like
show.
That would be something for that, like because then you'd know that's
happen and
what you were gonna do, and you would be all prepared for it and shit like that. I feel like that, but this thing where it's just like, hey, can you pop into this room for like 5 minutes?
Yeah, and just tear yourself up with this,
and just do that. I'm like, nah. like I said,
it's
maybe
easier
they can
to pass up on that and take somebody that's asked for something a lot easier.
Because most people ask for just like easy shit.
Yeah,
they just want to see your tits, or they just want to see me like blowing you or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's like, and that's easy. It's like I can do that. Like,
right.
We can do that all night long.
Right. And some of the shit they ask for would be easy to fake. You know what I mean?
That too.
Some of it they're like, can you do doggy from this position, this and that, just for a few minutes? And like, and the way the dude fucking asked for that, I knew that he knew the deal that we would fake it. Yeah. He just wants someone to jerk off to. Yeah. That's it. That's
what I mean. That's all it is. I don't think they're.
So
really
you're like, yeah, okay, no.
Like there's like that wasn't real.
Yeah. They don't care if it's real.
They don't care.
They don't care if it's real or not. They just want to, because he specified the camera angle and everything. So he's coded to me. He's sending me the fucking secret guy code. You don't actually have to get in it. You just want to see this shit happening. You know what I mean? Okay, we're fine.
Yeah. Well, he just wanted to see it from my from the front, like from my face and like. Shit
right. He knew that was an easy order. Yeah. That other couples can do that at the drop of a hat.
Right.
Because it's not me sitting around fucking 10 minutes trying to get ready for this fucking 5-minute show. Hold on, I'll be back in a second. I gotta go fucking fluff. It's gonna take me a minute. And then okay, I'm ready. I can do it now.
Although the nice thing about what we started doing, because the first few times we streamed, we actually tried to, because we wanted to like move the background, so we had a different background to this show and blah blah blah. So we started doing that. So we were kind of just like sitting on the floor. And then that was kind of a pain. And then finally Tom was like, why don't we just leave the laptop where it is?
Yeah, like just like this.
Just like this. It's like much easier. And then like if we have to, we can push the chairs back and like people can still see us like back in the room. And I was just like, yeah, duh. It's like, and it's better than like crawling around on the floor, which is really uncomfortable. Right. So
I still want this.
But the nice thing about it is that now it's like the camera angle, we can do all kind of stuff like underneath the
and
as long as you're not you can be doing stuff, it's just that you can't show any of that like in public, you know what I mean? Right. But you can like hint that you're doing that.
You can tell them that you're doing it,
and you can tell them that you're doing it, and you can be doing it as long as it's not showing up on camera. So we started doing that. And that does seem to like, people seem to like that. Because then you can be like, hey, if you go private, you can see what we're doing. You know what I mean? So then you can do that.
Right. That works because, fucking I'm already got the fucking motor running. And fucking, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, I can get this shit over with. and then fucking guys are coming in. Hey, what's up? It says, what's up? Fucking go ahead and hit that fucking go private button. You know, we're ready to go. And he's like, all right, because he's a guy too. He's like, oh, okay, you're ready to go? All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Mark M says, Tom, did you watch or hear about the recent UFO hearings? Any thoughts? Yeah, you've been watching those. Yeah. And the Next Dimension Media also said I was going to ask you that too.
All right, I'm glad you guys are asking good paranormal and UFO questions. I'm gonna sit here.
I was wondering if anybody was like going to ask him about that because I know he's been watching. I haven't been watching it, but I know I've been watching Long Island Serial Killer show.
I actually haven't watched the hearings. I've been listening to the guy from the House of Representatives, the Southern guy, who made all these hearings happen, and I'm hearing some of the stuff. But from what I've heard so far from the guys that I listen to, is that it's real basic. It's still kind of the basic shit that we know so far, and they're not really spilling any beans. They're not saying anything. Now, I don't know what happened today. I'm not on top of it, but by yesterday, they were hinting that they had a lot of shit, but they wouldn't want to talk about it. What I think it is, I think it's a psyop. I think it's a psychological operation.
I think they're just teasing us.
It's fucking CIA. The CIA.
That's why I haven't been listening to it, because I'm like, it's not going to amount to anything.
CIA trying. There's two or three things going on right now. It's a CIA running interference for the regime. One, Ukraine's got its ass fucking handed to it by the Russians. Just like I told you that shit was going to happen.
Oh, you put all the moonshine in
it. Yeah, and it's got strawberries in it. Yeah, Ukraine's fucking toast, all right? And that was not good for our oligarch class that owns a lot of Ukraine, because now that's going to fall up inside the Russian border. And they don't like that because they wanted to run that place as like a lawless fiefdom where they could get female sex slaves and do fucking bioengineering in there without the fucking watchful eye of any kind of serious government, because the Ukrainian government, a bunch of Nazis really, or Banderistas, which were Nazis. They fought alongside of the Third Reich, and somehow they convinced the American people that back in a Nazi-style government was a good thing because their leader is Jewish. You know, this is fucking ridiculous. It's all CIA bullshit. So they want to distract from Ukraine's getting ready to fucking collapse. All right, any moment now. They want to hide from that. They want to hide from the Hunter Biden fucking thing and the Burisma thing with Biden. So it's a distraction from that. It's also a distraction. There was another one thing that they were distracted. I forgot what it was. It was on the tip of my tongue. It's another thing that's going on that they don't. There's money market problems. I think. What was it? But that was the main ones. They're just trying to wrestle attention away from the bad shit that's happening, and they're trying to titillate the population with aliens. Now, what they could do, because the Ukraine thing fell through, they could come back and say we're going to be attacked by aliens soon. I don't think the American public would buy it, though. It's stupid. I don't know, but they are. The CIA is that crazy. There were all these kind of things in Marxist doctrine too that said that you could bring about a one world fucking communist government if you were being attacked by aliens, and if you could fake an alien attack, you could get people on that, and pandemics and all kinds of other shit that's all happened recently. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't think they have any kind of extraterrestrial craft. They evidently said they had biologics. I don't know what a biologic is. I guess it's like a biological material. That could be anything. That could be bacteria. You don't know what they're talking about there. But I don't think they have anything. Now, it doesn't mean I don't think extraterrestrials are being seen. Some of those Air Force sightings, yeah, I believe that, yeah, they saw some shit. Fucking cubes with spheres inside of them and clear, and the jet past them. The tic-tac-toe, the tic-tac UFO. I call it a tic-tac-toe. I'm going to call it a tic-tac-toe from here on out.
I mean, you didn't mean to, but now you kind of have to lean into it.
The tic-tac UFO sighting. Yeah. But I don't think they know anything.
Well, like I said, it's probably just like anything else. It's like, well, you know, we're the UFO guys, and we kind of just want to like keep our brand in the public eye. So it's like every now and then we kind of have to come out and be like, hey, for real, this time we have like alien shit. But it's like, I don't know, like I said, they never do.
In the past, the intelligence agencies have used UFO stories to hide secret programs.
Well, see, I don't even know if that works anymure because they've done it so many times.
Right.
So now it's like every time they come out, like, for real, we have like UFO shit. Everybody's like, no, you don't. Shut up.
Yeah. Right. Well, so they might just be using it now just to fucking kind of like try to distract from other things that have happened, like distracting from Ukraine.
Well, like I said, I don't know if that kind of shit works anymore because especially not UFO stuff.
No.
Because I feel like really, I don't think as many people are that interested in UFOs.
Look, all you got to do
as they think that are.
All you got to do is look at the regime on the right or the left, Republicans and Democrats. Look at them. They're old. All right? They're old, failing boomers. Dianne Feinstein can't barely talk. The president can't barely talk.
Well, neither can you, Tom.
I can barely talk. They're fucked up. They're crusty old boomers living a fantasy, trying to keep a dying machine running, and they don't know the outside world very well because they don't use internet. They don't live normal lives like us. They don't live a modern life either. They probably still think people watch TV, which some people do. They fucking go down to the damn Oasis and them old bikers watching television. They don't. What the fuck? It's like going back to 1985. So they think these old tricks will still work. That's how out of date they are. They're just extremely uncool, all of them. And their power's fading because they can no longer control narrative. Used to be that you could channel all the information through fucking 4 network television networks, and you could control the minds of people and the opinions of people, and it kept the ruling class in charge, in power, and that's all fading. Here's the thing: these government people I just talked about, these Republicans and Democrats and all these people in Washington D.C., that is not the ruling class. That's the servant class. Okay, those are the hired employees of the real ruling class, who are a bunch of oligarchs, people that trying to create monopolies and fucking real rich people that fucking own things outside the United States, and they own things in other countries and in Europe, and real rich people, not these fake rich people.
Zach says, "Hey, fuck, I'm late."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that late. We've only been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
James says, interdimensional life forms. I don't think these beings are from outer space. They have the ability to phase in and out of our visible spectrum of light, which is why it looks like they just disappear into thin air. I mean, interdimensional beings does not sound that out there to me. I don't know if they exist, but maybe. I don't know.
Interdimensional would still be extraterrestrial. That's the same thing.
Well, would it?
And here's something.
I don't know. I think there's a fine distinction there.
Not from this planet. It's another planet that they're coming from.
Well, maybe they're not. Maybe they're from an alternate version of this planet.
That would still be another planet.
Yeah, I guess.
It would still be another planet. It's in another dimension.
If you want to be pedantic.
Yeah,
about it.
it's still another planet. But here's the thing. You could go back to Star Trek and look at the fucking warp drive with the fucking USS Enterprise, right? That's extra-dimensional also. Because they're in a warp bubble outside of space.
True.
Okay? They're going faster than the speed of light, which can't be done in normal time-space.
Right.
They're coming out of it, and they're in a warp bubble.
Right.
Okay? Which is they're breaking the fucking light barrier by doing that. So that's still, that's the kind of technology involved in wormholing or teleporting, basically. It's all that same thing. So interdimensional doesn't mean anything. Extra-dimensional doesn't mean anything. These terms don't mean anything, really. They're just things that they're saying. And it's cheap to say shit, and that's what they're just saying things. Until they show you something and some kind of sample or a body or a ship.
Well, see, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
That's why whenever somebody says something somewhere about, it's like, oh, they're having new revelations about UFOs and stuff, I'm like, yawn. Because they're never going to show you anything substantive. So I'm just like, not, like I said, I'm just going to go read about some serial killers.
So the whole extra
At least I know
dimensional
they're
thing,
real.
fuck extra dimensional. That's also more things that they just say. Because if they're extraterrestrial, they're from another star system. That means that means that they're fucking traveling vast distances within a reasonable amount of time. There's no way to do that at the speed of light. The speed of light's too slow. So they have to be going faster than the speed of light. In Star Trek terminology, they're going trans-warp or high-level warp, which means that they're bending dimensions. They're bending space. That's so you could say they're extra-dimensional also. Because they're not traveling that actual distance, not within three-dimensional space. Because there's a speed limit, the speed of light. Only way to break it is to go to another dimension. Doesn't mean you're not extraterrestrial, though. You have to be extraterrestrial. So interdimensional doesn't mean anything.
You made me just think of my high school physics class where, like, the guy had the teacher had that sign that said, like, it's, intergalactic speed limit, like...
Speed of light.
Speed of light, yeah, right.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was funnier than I'm making it sound.
Yeah, if you're within three-dimensional space, you can't go any faster than light. It's it's an infinite amount of energy to accelerate even a small mass to that speed. So that means it's not possible. Not inside space. You have to leave space to do that. And that's what warp was about. Warp drive. It's moving, but it's not moving inside space. It's moving the space that it's occupying. It's moving that space through space. Which I can't explain it.
James says other dimensions exist like layers of cake. They exist along with us, but because they exist outside of our light spectrum, like I said, it's why we can't see them. Animals have the ability to see more of the spectrum than we do. That's true. Like, some animals can see ultraviolet, some can infrared, and like other things that we cannot see that's not in our visible light spectrum. It's always kind of like fascinated me when I was growing
The
up.
thing is, though, is that when you're talking about extra dimensional stuff, you're talking about higher dimensions. What you're talking about with higher dimensions is kind of like the idea of the tesseract, or a three-dimensional object that kind of casts a shadow, and it casts a shadow into an adjacent dimension. You can't live over there. It's just a side to a physical object that you're not aware of because you can't access it. So other dimensions don't mean anything. Other dimensions, a higher dimension, even if it's there, you wouldn't be able to detect it. And it is already having the influence on us that it has. You might be able to jump through space by going into a higher dimension and coming down, which might be how an alien would do it. You could cover a lot of distance without actually traveling the distance, kind of like out of Dune. But you wouldn't be impressed if you saw that higher dimension, and it probably would just be a single point. Probably wouldn't have any length, depth, or width to it. It's a place where this place touches that place, and all of these places in this universe touch that place. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So it's going to be something like that. When you're talking about parallel universes, that's different. That's not another dimension. It's just that in this universe I turned right, in another universe I turned left. They both exist. Okay? But they're separate from each other. They can't interact. Maybe a year from now, that the me that turned left can somehow contact me, but I don't think any of that would work either, or you'd see it happen all the time.
I always found that concept fascinating, though.
Yeah.
And there's been like some good movies actually that explored that concept of like of essentially like infinite versions of this reality with slight alterations. Like if you haven't seen the movie Coherence, you should really see that, but because it's a story that takes that premise, but they did it like low budget. They just shot it in one house and everything like that. But like the implications of the idea behind it were like really, really well done. And it was kind of the thing where there was essentially like infinite universes where there were just like slight variations of like this one universe, you know what I mean? And they were kind of like freaking out because there were like different versions of everybody.
Yeah, I tell you, I can tell you this much though. If that's happening, that at every moment there are other things that could have
then
happened,
everything spins
and
off
everything's
into
spinning
right.
off. Yeah. If you were to go in one of those other universes that you weren't supposed to be, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't notice the difference.
Probably not.
Because it would just seem like a normal chain of event for you. So if there are parallel universes of this universe,
maybe you're going in and out of them all the time without you being
without
aware of
even
it.
know of it, right? You wouldn't be aware of it, and if you wouldn't be, and if somebody artificially made you aware of it, it wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, in this universe I made $100. In the other universe I made $105. You know, it wouldn't make it wouldn't make any difference. It wouldn't be like something out of a damn Stephen King novel where there's demons, you know, and fucking, you know.
Wouldn't be
here
that,
it's a school.
It wouldn't be that fun.
Wouldn't be that fun.
It'd probably be just like really boring.
Yeah. You wouldn't know. They would all the universes would be real similar.
Well, it's like in this universe, I had tacos for lunch, and
Yeah.
in that universe, I had a ham sandwich.
Exactly. It'd be like shit like that.
Zach has finally arrived and said, "So I went to the bathhouse again the other day."
Oh shit, the gay bathhouse.
And I think I'm gonna have to make an appointment with the cootie clinic here soon.
No
Zach, what
Damn.
did you do? I mean, I can imagine what you probably did, but I'm just like wondering why you think you have some kind of affliction.
You didn't shave before you went, or because if them little crabs get up in you.
Tammy says, "In what universe does Tom get pegged?"
Tammy wants to see that video. Tammy wants to see that.
We
video.
all want to see it, Tom.
It's just gonna cost big bucks. I got if any shit like that happens, I would videotape that shit, and it'd be worth a lot of money. But I had to get paid before.
That's like fucking gold right there.
We're talking motorcycle money.
You have to buy a motorcycle.
New motorcycle money. Yeah. That kind of money.
But see, everybody has a price, though.
Everybody has a price.
Everybody has a price. Although I'm gonna say there's probably some shit that I would not do for any price, and I'm not talking about necessarily sexual things, but I'm talking about like other shit. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody asked me to do, like, some really horrible shit. Like, have you ever seen the movie, like, Would You Rather? Did you guys see that movie? Where Jeffrey Combs was, like... Jeffrey Combs was in it. So Jeffrey Combs was this super, super rich guy, and he was making all these people, like, do crazy shit for money. And some of that shit in there, if I had the choice, I would not do it for any amount of money.
What you talking about?
I said, did you ever see that movie, Would You Rather?
No.
Where Jeffrey Combs was in it. You might like it, actually. Jeffrey Combs was in it, and he played this rich dude where it was like a game kind of thing, where he was, like, offering money for... like crazy shit, you know what I mean? Like telling people to do crazy shit. And I said most of the stuff in that movie, and I would not do for any amount of money. So I can think of a lot of things that I wouldn't do for any amount of money, to be honest. I mean, it'd be nice to have that amount of money, that's for sure. But
it'd be easy to
some of the shit would be like
shit that you wouldn't do for money.
Yeah.
But when you start confining it to sexual stuff, you would do for money. That's a lot more realistic because you're not asking somebody to kill somebody else.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like sexual stuff.
Cutting your hand off for
right. Yeah,
that
can. Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Sexual
stuff is stuff that you could do.
Yeah.
It's just would you? And
right.
And then here's
probably most shit, depending on the amount, I probably would.
Yeah. Now, what if it was to be videotaped and sold afterwards?
It would depend on what it was.
Depend on what it was, right.
Most of the time, depending on what it was, I probably wouldn't care.
Right.
I probably would have cared when I was younger, but now that I'm the age that I am, I don't really give a shit anymore.
We were talking about that earlier.
So,
in another show, they were asking us about some of the shit that we're doing, stream mate and video. And I would say I would not recommend this for everybody. Especially not a young person that has like...
Yeah, I mean, if they want to do it, I'm not going to tell people what to do if they're an adult, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm just saying if they came to me for advice specifically...
Yeah.
Probably if you're younger...
Yeah.
Like if you're just in your 20s or something like that...
Yeah.
I don't know if I would necessarily advise it. But like I said, I'm not going to stop you because you're an adult. But I'm just saying that it might like bite you in the ass later on.
Yeah.
That's all.
And it also depends on what it is.
That too.
If you're gonna do mainstream fucking studio level porn, you're in your 20s, and it's the shit that they have those girls do, and the amount of fucking dudes that run through them, and that's really gonna affect your relationships. All right. And young people need to be having relationships and having kids in their 20s. You know what I mean? Women, if they want to have kids, you should really ideally have kids in your 20s while you're young and you have a lot of energy to raise the kid. And then when the kid's old enough to go on their own, you're still young enough to fucking do whatever the hell you want. Then you can be liberated and independent. You know?
That is one of the plus sides of having kids
younger. Yeah.
Is really, that you're still young when they grow up and get the fuck out of your house.
I recommend a lot of the shit they tell girls here in the United States and in the Western world is backwards. They tell them they should sell their souls off to these fucking soul-crushing careers in an office at an early age. The fuck no. No. What really women should do is have kids young.
I mean, if they want them.
Yeah, if
like
you want
I said,
kids,
I never
have
them
young.
So.
That way you shake that kid out quick, and then you snap back, and then you're an adult. And by the time you're 30, you're still fucking young, and the kid's now pretty grown. 20, the kid might be 10
by the
years
time
old.
you're 40, the kid's like 20 years old and is away at college.
Right.
And you're still relatively young.
Right. Now, if a girl jumps fucking knee deep into fucking studio porn, she's probably also jumping in knee deep into sugaring or sugar daddying and fucking escorting. Your selection of mates is gonna fucking dwindle down to only a certain kind of guy, and it may not be the kind of guy you want. All right. So I don't recommend these adult careers to young women.
Like I said,
better if they're for a mature woman who's already lived her life. She knows who she is. She's got a strong sense of self and identity, you know what I mean? So she can do all this role playing and all this fucking entertainment. And she's already had her kids. They're already
she's already had like a life. She's already had experiences. She's already had something of a career. She's already done all that. So it's just kind of like if you know, if later on, like,
Yeah.
some boss finds out, oh my god, you did porn, it's
You're
just
like,
like,
oh,
man,
fuck you, I'm 45.
yeah,
Fuck you.
what are you gonna do to me?
Yeah.
You know, I don't care.
Right.
So yeah. Well, like I said, I think that is the single best thing
Yeah.
about getting older
Yeah.
is that you don't give a shit about
older
stuff
people
anymore.
are a lot freer from consequences, because when you get 50, nothing's long term really anymore. Everything is kind of short term.
Well, yeah, you're just thinking, well,
20 years ain't
I
nothing.
might only live like another 20 or 30 years at this point.
Yeah, and it goes by
So-
fast. So you know.
Right, and like, yeah, and the older you get, like, the faster shit goes by.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like you don't
care as much.
care as much anymore.
And also, things don't affect you as much because you know who you are.
yeah,
you know
you
what
don't give as much of a shit about what other people think of you.
Yeah, and if, say, you were to do something that is not really all that kosher, some fucking porn scene, that is not who you are. You know who you are. That's just something you did. It didn't really affect
Well,
you
the
as
way
much.
that I think about it is
Yeah.
that, like, you know, we make the videos and we're on the stream and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, that's just... It doesn't bother me, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's just like, well, that's just shit that we'd be doing anyway. Like,
Most of it, yeah.
if it wasn't on film or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, we're just filming it. And a lot of people do that nowadays. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not really that concerned.
And a lot
about
of the
it.
shit and some of the shit that we've done, at least on StreamMate, was for a client, and it was just totally role playing, you know, like I'm slapping her and shit like that, you know what I mean? Fucking, because that's what the customer wanted.
Yeah, you want
It was within safety reasons, and
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
didn't-
into that shit.
He didn't hurt me.
Yeah, and I'm not into that shit. That didn't do anything to me. That didn't change me. It didn't change her because it was just some bullshit we did.
Well, and he asked me ahead. He's like, "Is that okay? Like, are you okay with that?" And I
Yeah.
was just like, "Yeah, obviously don't knock my head off, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's all right. I have a high pain tolerance."
Yeah. You know, it's like doing pro wrestling.
Yeah, it was kind of like that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
And the dude seemed to enjoy it, so
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
and like
he's
I said,
thanks, gotta be back. You know.
like you didn't hurt me,
No.
so it's just kind of like, so he got it. Like it made good noises and stuff, so you did a good job with
I
that.
cut my hand like that. I'm
Yeah,
fucking pop.
so it makes it like a big tapping.
Yeah,
noise,
yeah, yeah.
but it didn't really hurt.
He wanted me to talk mean to her, you know,
to.
roughing her up. No, and
It
you
is
know,
kind of weird how many dudes are into that though.
yeah,
That is kind of weird.
yeah,
Like how they want to see like
Slapping,
a
slapping,
chick
yeah.
get roughed up and
Yeah.
abused.
Yeah, but-
like verbally abused.
yeah. But I've actually known girls that
Interesting.
liked that though.
Yeah, some girls do.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, but it's interesting
hair,
how
pull her hair, rough them up, talk bad.
I
to
like
'em.
that sometimes,
Yeah, yeah,
but
they're like,
sometimes
"Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
in the mood for
yeah."
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just want shit to be comfortable and easy, get it over with.
Well, it's not so much getting it
Yeah.
over with. It's just sometimes I don't know. Sometimes you're not in the mood for that. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are, but sometimes not.
Yeah.
It's all like in how you feel that day.
Yeah, but some of it had to do with fucking being real young too.
Yeah.
You're young. This shit's easier to fucking excitement is a lot more effective on you.
Yeah, maybe that's what it
It
is.
has a lot to do with it.
I guess.
Mhm.
Victor says, "Hey, I made it."
What's up, Vic?
Hey, welcome, Victor.
What
Yeah.
turned you gay this time, Vic?
We haven't talked. We don't know. He just got here, and so we don't know. Like, what?
Yeah.
What have we been talking about that might have made him gay today?
I don't know. Our boy fucking
Aliens?
catching
Interdimensional aliens.
catching cooties in the mail in the bathhouse.
Zach caught cooties in the bathhouse.
Zach caught cooties in the bathhouse.
So could that somehow have made you gay?
I don't know. He heard about it and it flipped him gay.
Yeah, Zach says, should a slight tingle every once in a while at the end of something be cause for concern?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Have you ever experienced that, Tom?
No.
After
I
going
don't
to
even
the
know-
after going to the bathhouse?
No. Never been to a bathhouse.
I find that hard to believe.
Why would I go to a
I'm
bathhouse?
just teasing.
Why the fuck would I go to a bathhouse?
I'm just fucking with you, Tom.
Fucking bathhouse.
You know you love it. You know you love it.
I do? Why would I love it?
I don't know.
Me and Zach.
Like I said, I'm just teasing
if I'm gonna
you.
go have, if I'm gonna have a bath, if I have a gay bath, that's gonna be me and Zach.
He's gonna have a gay bath. How's
Me and Zach.
how's that different from a straight bath?
That's a gay bath. No, gay bath. Gay bath. Gay bath is me and Zach up at the fucking, up on the penthouse of the fucking Dunes Hotel in fucking Las Vegas.
There you go.
We're up in a penthouse in the fucking hot tub.
In a heart-shaped tub.
The
I
hot-
feel like it needs to be a
With
heart-shaped
the bubble
tub.
bath. We
Sure.
got Gavin Friday fucking playing.
Is it that Angel
Angel
song. That you love so much?
Yeah, it's the gayest song
from
of all time.
From the Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. We got fucking
The Bachelor and
champagne.
Romeo. Tom loves that movie. Don't let him lie to you.
I love that movie. Fucking champagne, a bubble bath, and fucking...
Damn, I don't even get all that.
No, fuck no. This is gay. Gay. If it's gay, it's got to be a certain way. I got a boa on. I got a feather boa. And I'm in the hot tub with a feather boa. Camera crew's there.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm liking this scenario.
Yeah, I got Zach licking the bottom of my feet.
Can I watch or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be weirded out if I'm in there, or do I have to be behind like two glass
you can come
or
on.
something?
You can come in and fluff and everything.
Just wondering.
Yeah. No, you can be there.
Okay. I didn't know if you'd be weirded out.
No. Why would I be weirded out?
While you're having your gay bath experience, don't use Mr. Bubble though. You'll get a UTI.
So what you're trying to say is that if you appear that's not, now you're afraid that it won't be gay enough. There's too much estrogen.
Well, that's what I mean. I might interfere.
Estrogen. Okay.
So I might have to like watch it from afar. Like I said, you need like a two-way mirror or something. I can watch it from behind that.
See, this is the thing, Jen. Jen's talking all this shit, trying to act like she's all bashful, when her ultimate fantasy was to see me and David Bowie getting it on, and David Bowie in damn Gareth costume from fucking Labyrinth in those pants.
Well, yeah, he had to be wearing those pants
Yeah.
and that hair too.
That hair
would
and
be good.
everything, yeah.
But I mean, any of his looks would be fine. Any of his looks would be fine. But I'm not picky. Well, it's not going to happen now, is he? Because he died.
Tammy says, Tom, here's Zach. Read the comments. The shit.
Tom is going to borrow your alien dildo, Jenny.
Yeah.
He might be using it when I'm not here. I don't know.
No. In your dreams.
My alien dildo.
Yeah. Zach's saying something there. What's he saying?
Fun fact, the place I went to used to have a jacuzzi, but they took it out because water was crawling with all the STDs.
The water was?
Yeah. They're like, we tested the water, and every single STD, including a few that we haven't identified yet, are swimming around in this water.
Chlorine didn't kill all that?
So,
They didn't have chlorine?
well, that's the thing. Maybe these were like superbugs that were like impervious to chlorine.
Yeah.
They were like, you know.
So Zach, tell us about
like super chlamydia.
So Zach, tell us about the bathhouse. Fucking what it was like when you went that.
See, that's crazy because I mean, I guess like on an intellectual level, I knew that there was still bathhouses around, but I kind of felt like that was more. I don't know. I just felt like that was more like a 70s and 80s thing. I don't know. And it's like, I knew that they were still around, but I didn't know if they were still, like, widespread to any extent. Because I know, like, in the 70s, they had them fucking everywhere. But, so I didn't really know how, like, fucking, how many of them were still around, you know. I guess they never went anywhere. James says, it's not the same, but a flavored condom would help with stuff in the future. Holy shit. One of the funniest things, I don't know why that's... Well, I know why it reminded me of it. I was in the UK many years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago, something like that now. And you know how in the train stations, like in the bathrooms of the train stations in the UK, they always have like condom machines, right? They had some flavored condoms, and some of the flavors were like normal, I guess, as much as a condom flavor could be normal. So it was like strawberry and shit like that, which, you know, that's not that crazy. But then there was curry flavored condoms. And I was like, I kind of want to buy these. I'm like, I'm sure they taste terrible, but I was like, the flavor stuff that they put on those, it's like, that can't be chemically. I mean, I'm sure that would give you all kind of infections. Yeah, what the fuck, curry? That's what I said. Curry flavored condoms. Only in Britain. Seriously. In a British train station. Strawberry condom flavor. Like one other flavor that was like kind of normal, like vanilla or something. And then like the one next to it was curry. And I'm like, no fucking way. I should have taken a picture of it. Indian sex.
That's some stupid shit.
What kind of curry? See, I don't know. It was just like generic curry. It was just like curry flavor. And I was like, so I guess it must have just... I was like, what? Did they just dust it with curry powder?
It must have been terrible.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of wanted to get one just out of curiosity, but it's like, I'm sure it like tastes awful. Although, wouldn't it be funny if it was like, if you got one and it was like delicious? It tasted just...
Zach's going on about UTI and shit.
Hoping it's just a UTI. Well,
Well, you can read it right there.
Just a UTI. It's like, those fucking suck. I don't get them so much anymore, but I used to get them a lot. Like, probably like once or twice a year. And they are not fun. Like, a few times I had to go to the CVS clinic to get the fucking antibiotics. Actually, one time, probably like 20 years ago, I got one that was really bad, and then I didn't have any money to go to get antibiotics, so I was just like, well, maybe it'll go away on its own. Spoiler alert, it didn't, and it actually went to my kidneys and gave me a kidney infection, which was probably the most painful thing that I've ever experienced, and I ended up having to go to the emergency room, so that was fun. So don't ignore UTIs, you guys. I'm just saying. Don't be like me, because I did that, and that was probably the worst pain I've ever experienced.
I think that's funny that Tammy remembers the alien dildo.
Well, you show it all the time, so.
No, I didn't show it all the time.
I mean, you showed it a few times.
No,
you showed it.
Go grab that shit again. Show that to Tammy.
It's right here.
Yeah, show that to Tammy.
We got all the dicks right here.
Show that to Tammy. I want to tell her something.
You want to tell her something?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the alien. Dick, right?
Show that to Tammy. Good. Give her a good view of that bitch.
It's actually much greener than it looks on camera because the
whites
is kind of like washing it out.
Yeah.
It's actually like neon green.
Right. It's neon green. Tammy, that's what you need right there. Okay. That bitch has got all kinds of ridges on it. It gets fatter at certain parts of it. All right. Got that off of. This will tear you up, girl. You need that.
Not as much as the other one.
Not as much as the other one, but that is. We got that off of Amazon, and it looks like an extraterrestrial.
I think I got it on Shein actually. It looks like an.
No, we didn't get that on Shein.
We didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, that was not Shein.
It all kind of looks like an extraterrestrial maggot, is what it looks like.
It looks like an insect. It's alien. It's not human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tammy said all the time. I've seen it 3 times. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You and your, I've just shown it once. Okay. I'm like, no, it's been several times.
Yeah. That burned in her mind, though. That just go ahead and get it, Tammy. Go ahead and get it. It's uncut too.
Yeah.
See, it's uncut.
It just reminds me, it's very Cronenbergian. I think that's what I like about it. Yeah. Like I said, I kind of like the ones that look interesting. That are like interesting colors or look like monsters or something like that. Like I said, they're not always so super fun to use, like for their intended purpose.
Show them the worst one.
But, well, yeah, I mean, we've showed this one a bunch of times too. I love that. This is my favorite. The look of this one is my favorite, but like I said, using it for its intended purpose is like super not fun. You know what this kind of reminds me of?
It's like a dragon.
Do you remember back in, when was this? The 80s or the 90s? Remember like at Spencer's and Hallmark and shit like that? They used to have like those fancy candles that were all like swirly and like that, you know, they carved out, and they were like, I had one that was like black and white and it was really pretty. This kind of reminds me of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But also like a Lovecraftian tentacle type situation.
James talking about Bad Dragon. Yeah, these are like knockoff Bad Dragons. A real Bad Dragon is expensive.
They're expensive.
Those things are fucking super expensive.
So now there's like a whole industry of like knockoff ones that are much cheaper. I don't even remember how much this one was. It wasn't much. This one was what?
About $30.
I think it was $30. Yeah. Which, like I said, is pretty cheap.
Give them a good side view of it. Yeah. Now, get your hand out of the way.
Well, I gotta hold it, dummy.
Hold it from the back. Now they can't see. Okay, look. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm clearly doing it wrong.
Yeah,
so.
like that. That's what.
Yeah, everybody really wants to see the bottom of the
motherfucker right there. I've seen that thing in action.
John Gora said very big at head shops those candles were. Yeah, I remember those. I had one. Somebody gave it to me. Like, I used to think they were really cool looking. You know what I mean? I'm sure they still have them, but they were all like carved and swirly and shit like that. So it kind of like reminds me of that.
All right, so Zach's telling a story about going to the bathhouse.
Let me see.
He's got
chemicals from the pool. Yeah, well. Also, that place is kind of a fire hazard. Super dark, mirrors everywhere. Kind of set up what?
Okay, hoping it's just okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of set up like a maze. I walked into several walls and almost fell down the stairs a few times. Yeah, I do that kind of shit too. Don't feel bad.
Was it just wall-to-wall dudes in there?
And the steam bath at this place is like walking into a horror movie. It's dark and foggy. If you have glasses and that bad night vision, good luck not running into anyone or anything.
Why is a nice boy like you going into these dirty places, man? Well, I don't understand it. I don't understand it, Zach.
Why wouldn't you?
Okay, I guess so. He's going to go down there and just hand himself over to those heathens. Just they're going to take care of his fucking flesh. And fucking mortify your fucking flesh, dude.
Okay. Tammy said, "Let Tom show you how to hold a dildo the right way." Right, and then he just showed like the bottom of it, like with the fucking.
Don't listen to her. That's not what happened.
Okay.
Don't listen to her.
Zach said, "Who said I was a nice boy?"
I said that.
Yeah.
I said that shit.
But you're probably wrong, cause.
Fucking slut.
He's like, yeah, I am. What's wrong with sluts?
He's gonna be going down there. You're gonna
Nothing's
fucking
wrong
go
with
down
sluts.
there and you're gonna run into Rob Halford.
I'm still gonna get that. I'm gonna get that Rob Halford autobiography.
I'd like to
goddammit!
read it. Yeah.
We saw that. We were at the bookstore the other day getting some coffee, and I was like, "Look, Tom, they have like Rob Halford has an autobiography." I kind of want to read it.
Every time these gay rock stars die, they got to make a movie about him. If he dies, they better make a fucking Rob Halford movie.
I'm honestly,
good.
why haven't they made one up to now?
It's probably good. He strikes me as an interesting dude.
That's what I mean. I kind of want to read that.
The lyrics, Judas Priest lyrics, were the fucking greatest, especially the '70s stuff. '70s lyrics were really good, like "Sinner," "Dissonant Aggressor," and fucking "Tyrant" and "Exciter." They're great songs. He's just fucking. I'd have contacted him actually. I got him on fucking Instagram. He'd probably talk to me.
You think?
Probably.
I mean, unless he gets.
I'll send him a dick pic.
Oh God! Don't do that. Like every woman in the world just rolled their eyes, like Jesus fucking Christ.
No, I'd ask him a question. There's some questions I want to ask him.
Well, yeah, I mean, go for it.
I want to ask him. The song "Sinner," is he talking about Mars, the god of war? I'm pretty sure he's talking about Mars. That Mars is the sinner. But if you guys don't know the song, fucking, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But it's a great song. I like it. I actually showed that song to Zach. He goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good," especially for a '70s fucking metal song.
Oracle said, "I really did just roll my eyes as Jenny was saying that about sending a dick pic."
Yeah.
Because I said every woman in the world is like, "Oh Jesus."
He's a man, though.
Yeah, men might see it different.
Yeah, men
because
see it totally different.
That's the thing. It's like I'm always kind of like, well, I know why. Like intellectually, I know why dudes send dick pics.
Yeah.
But it's just like to women, it makes absolutely no sense. It's like, why the fuck would you do that?
No, I think
like
I think to a gay man, it makes total sense. He's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, to a gay man, that might be different.
Yeah, that's good.
But like to a woman, you're like, why would you send me that? I don't know you, and it's like this is just some disembodied body part that you're sending me, and it's kind of like threatening and obnoxious.
Afterwards, I say, by the way, that wasn't my dick. It was just a picture of a dick that I had.
See, now that would be kind of funny. That would be kind of funny. It'd be actually funnier if you probably sent like a fucking.
No, I actually got some questions. I got some
or
questions
something.
for Rob. I hadn't thought about it. I got him on Instagram, but I'm gonna take time. I'm gonna write him a little letter.
Okay.
Yeah, because I said, man, I was back in high school listening to you, man, fucking. And some of these lyrics are tripping me out. And I have some questions about some of these lyrics. I also wanted to know there's a couple of lines inside fucking Raw Deal where he's talking about going to Fire Island. All right, he said he made the spike around 9 o'clock on a Saturday. All right, this is a fucking gay bondage club. And there's a couple lines I can't quite make out what he's saying. And I was getting into a fight with some guys a couple years back. Not really a fight, but a discussion a couple years back on a YouTube video that had that song of what he was actually saying. And I think he's saying, and there he was so mean and cruel. Yeah, but the other guys had a different interpretation of what he said. But he's talking about leather daddies, man.
Which is funny
and
because
being mean and cruel is a good thing in the leather daddy world. So that's what he's saying.
Like, we like that.
Right, yeah.
But that's what's funny is I kind of feel like back then, all the straight dudes that were listening to it didn't really get any of that subtext.
No. I didn't figure that out until I was like maybe a senior in high school. A lot of what he was talking about was just going over my head. But by the time I was a senior, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what he's talking about. You know, I was vaguely aware that there was a bondage scene in the gay thing. You know.
Yeah. Well, there's.
I just didn't realize I didn't realize the heavy metal was that closely related to it. But no, it is.
There's a very fine line.
Yeah.
It's very funny to me because, well, particularly in the 80s when I think metal went more like cock rock kind of.
Yeah.
And got considerably lamer.
And became for girls, really.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like they were trying to be like overtly macho, but I was just kind of like, yeah, but they're wearing their girlfriend's clothes though.
Literally their girlfriend's
And then, well,
pants.
here was the dumb thing, and even in junior high, I thought this was dumb.
Yeah.
Because look, I was in junior high, and I was real into new wave, right? Which so you had like in my junior high school there were like two contingents. I mean, other than like the people that didn't get involved, but all the people that were like into music subcultures, you had all the new wave people and the, you know, kind of punk people and all those kind of people, which is the people I hung out with. And then you had like all the metalheads, and all the metalheads were kind of more, they weren't even into good shit, they were into like, you know, like cock rock kind of shit. And they were all kind of like calling us, oh, we were all weenies and nerds and faggy and everything like that. And I'm just like, but they look like women too, though. Like they're getting all over like Boy George's case and like shit like, oh, they're all gay. I'm like, look at your fucking shit.
You must be talking about Cinderella and Poison.
Yeah, they were all into that kind of crap.
Yeah, they were.
Which like I was like, that's just glam rock, and it's not even
Yeah.
good glam rock. It's just shitty glam rock.
They were kind of copying the New York Dolls. And
Yeah,
stuff
big
and
time.
and-
Except the New York Dolls were like 100 times cooler.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that was the L.A. scene.
Yeah.
The L.A. scene, you know, started to go very glammy looking. Really, I think it might have started with Bon Jovi. I think that's Bon Jovi.
I don't know if they were the first ones to do it, but they were, and they weren't the most glammy of all of them.
No, Poison was.
Yeah.
From what I remember, and White Lion.
Motley Crue went that way too.
Motley Crue didn't start
even
that
though,
way, though.
No, I was gonna say even though Motley Crue's early shit was kind of was better.
Yeah, fucking that first Motley Crue album actually kind of looked like almost goth. A lot of black bondage type gear, and it was kind of gender bending kind of stuff. And then Shout of the Devil came out. That was basically Kiss, a reboot of Kiss.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
what James just said. Kiss and fucking Pantera were glam rock at one
it was
point.
like Kiss.
And White Snake, Oracle points out, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking White Snake. Gotta hate it.
Here I go again on my own. Yeah. The White Snake.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yes. Which is, of course, they're talking about dick, you know. Fucking White Snake. It's gotta be.
I kind of feel like all of that stuff was... They don't call it cock rock for nothing.
Yeah.
That's all they're talking about.
Yeah, they knew, though. They knew. It's just that they...
But it's like, it's funny to me because...
The fans didn't know.
Right. A lot of their fans were
fans-
like these teenage boys that were like trying to be like overly macho and manly and everything like that. And I'm just like, yeah, but y'all look more girly than fucking Duran Duran does. That's for sure.
It depended on the band.
Yeah.
It's not so much Iron Maiden.
So what do you like shitting on us for?
There were also bands like and we're getting into fucking heavy metal. There were also bands that didn't make it, that were kind of underground during that time, that were really good. There was a German one called Accept. I really liked Accept, and they were kind of like a German version of Judas Priest, but it was mixed with Metallica. They had a singer's name was Udo Dirkensnyder, and he was this little short.
That is the Germanest name that
Udo.
I've ever heard.
Yeah. He was kind of this short, dumpy kind of guy, you know what I mean? He does not look like... He was maybe 5'1" or 5'2" or something, and he was real stocky. He had a great voice, though. I liked how he sounded. It was, and there were a lot of bondage kind of overtones to some, or undertones to what they were doing. And it was funny because in that particular band, and this is back in like 1986 maybe, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the song was.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the name of the song was.
You can sit in my chair.
But it was they were actually talking about gender confusion, about this guy in high school who's being picked on because he doesn't know if he's a boy or a girl. And it was the weirdest thing, you know what I mean? Fucking when you're, you know, like in 10th grade or something, and you're hearing this, and it's the first time that subject's coming up. But looking back on it, that was kind of ahead of its time. And it was happening in metal music. Maybe somebody might know the exact name of that song, or they might be able to look it up, because I'm sure the internet knows about that song. But anyway, years later, I found out that Udo and the guys from Accept actually didn't really write those lyrics. Udo had a woman working for him who was like a mega fan, and she handled a lot. She handled a lot of their touring and a lot of their behind the scenes logistics, and she was kind of like support and everything. And she wrote a lot of those songs, the lyrics to a lot of those songs. She wrote that song. I just thought it was kind of weird in a certain way. A lot of people wouldn't think that heavy metal would kind of have, I guess you could say, they were kind of like heavy metal bands were the fucking shit. Where'd Jen go?
What?
Oh, okay, there you go. Oh shit! I looked over there and the fucking door was open. What are you doing back there? It's like, what the fuck?
You can't be that.
You wouldn't think. Or I wouldn't have thought, and I was a kid back then living through it. I wouldn't have thought that metal music was the scene that was first starting to discuss all that stuff. Transgenderism and identity
Well, because
confusion.
like I said, I feel like a lot of, and I don't think this was necessarily coming from the musicians. I think it was coming from the fan base more than anything. I mean, at least from what I remember, because the fan base just seemed very, very overly macho, or they were at least trying to project being overly macho.
But that's kind of gay too.
Which,
though.
like I said, I think. Well, I always feel like people that feel the need to project being like overly manly or overly macho, that's always just kind of like masking insecurity.
Well, yeah,
is
you're dealing
what
with
that is.
teenage boys.
That's what I'm saying.
And I was there, man. I thought that shit was cool as fuck. You know what I mean? But then later I started getting into other bands. Really, what got me out of metal was girls. As soon as you start dating, metal stops making sense. What started to make sense was more like U2 and fucking Duran started to make a whole hell of a lot more sense, and Billy Idol made more sense when you were dating and shit. But I just thought it was strange looking back on it that metal was so socially progressive compared to a lot of the other metal that was going on, a lot of stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
Just that it's just that the fans weren't really
Kind
aware of it.
They
weren't
didn't
getting
really
it.
seem to. Well, like you said, a lot of the fan base was teenage boys.
They were too young to understand what was being
so
said.
I think they didn't really like get all of the nuances of what they were talking about, which is kind of true of a lot of genres.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of stuff is going on in the shit. That,
And it was obvious that fucking Ozzy Osbourne was talking about LSD and out-of-body experiences and smoking weed and drinking too much. I mean, that was very obvious. But it wasn't obvious to a teenage boy what Rob Halford was talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or what Udo Dirkensnyder was talking about.
I mean, unless they were
we knew
having...
what Iron Maiden was talking about because that was kind of written at our level.
I mean,
they're talking about history.
Well, the thing about it is that unless you were experiencing that yourself, like,
Yeah.
for example, if you were a teenage boy that was thinking about, like, you know, being transgender or something like that, then you would probably get it, like, holy shit, he's talking about, like, then you would probably relate.
Yeah.
But if you weren't, if you were just, like, had other concerns or something like that, it would probably just, like, go over your head. Like, you would probably think they were talking about something else.
But I remembered that Accept song when I was a kid, and it made sense. You know what I mean? I was just like, well, okay, that's what they're talking about. And from what I remembered about it, it was basically a "Don't worry about it" song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're picking on you, but don't worry about it. You know, it was that kind of.
Because what the hell do they know?
Yeah, what the fuck do they know? It was that kind of thing. It's like, this is your life. Let me go get some more ice.
All right. Wouldn't mind a little bit of a refill on that.
Okay, all right.
It's Friday night, for Christ's sake. John Gora said metal was like punk, but without the irony or self-awareness. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I do kind of feel like punk and metal are almost kind of like, I don't even want to say they're flip sides because they're very, very similar in a lot of ways. It's the music of disaffection. But like you said, I think punk had that extra fillip of just, I don't know. Like you said, it's more like an ironic kind of shit. Whereas metal was very, I don't want to say necessarily like po-faced or earnest, because it depended on the band. But I do definitely feel like punk was more like taking the piss out of themselves along with everything else. Zach says also R.I.P. Sinead O'Connor. Yeah, that was have they said how she died? I thought the way that they were framing it, at least from the few articles that I read, did she commit suicide? I know her son did. Last year before, when I don't remember when it was. But I thought that's kind of what the implication was. Yeah, see, that's what I thought too. Like, they don't come out and say that, and I know they don't usually because there's still like a stigma about it, but I thought that that's what the wording was hinting at.
What are you talking about?
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah. What?
I thought probably she had committed suicide. And they don't really say that. Because like I said, her son committed suicide also, like just last year. And I know that she was really fucked up about that.
Well, she was always had mental problems, I think.
She did, but she kind of got, like, done dirty, I feel like. Honestly, I know everybody was real into Nothing Compares to You, which was a Prince song. But I had her, I don't know, was it her first album? What the fuck was that album called? The Lion and the Cobra? That had Mandinka on it. I bought that back in whenever it came out. 87, 88, I don't remember. And man, I used to play that all the time. That was a great fucking album. She had a great fucking voice. You know what I mean? She just had a great fucking voice. And it was kind of sad. And honestly, I know that like the one thing everybody remembers about her is her tearing up that picture of the Pope on SNL. But I was kind of like, man, that was like some ballsy shit. And I was upset that everyone was like mad about it. I'm like, who cares? What's the fucking... Well, like I said, I'm an atheist. I don't give a shit about any of that kind of stuff. So I was just kind of like, I just thought it was kind of like, I thought it was amusing that everyone was so offended by it, back then. But I don't even remember what year that happened. And then, like, she literally could not go anywhere after that, like, without getting fucking booed. Just because of that. And I'm just like, who would have thought in this day and age that anyone would get their panties in a twist about something stupid like that? But okay. People talk about people getting fucking outraged nowadays, like back then. Holy crap, man. Her career was pretty much ruined after that.
Who?
Sinead O'Connor. Tearing up the picture of the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, and at the time she did that, I was like, yeah, all right. I was like, I thought that was
interviews with her.
thought that was pretty cool that she did that.
I saw interviews with her from that time, though. She said that she was surrounded by a bunch of people that were just having her do things to shock stuff. You know what I mean? And she said she wouldn't have done that normally. Somebody told her to fucking basically protest the playing of the national anthem before a program. That's one thing. She was surrounded by some people that were trying to get her to misbehave because she would end up in the newspaper. So,
right. Well, I guess that works, but like I said, it also kind of like ruined her career too.
It ruined her career.
Which was a shame because she was actually really
she's
talented.
Real good, yeah, real good.
Like I said, I had her. What was The Lion and the Cobra her first album? Because I had that one and it's fucking great.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you haven't listened to it, it's great.
But what was while she was telling the story, they were showing pictures of the guy. They showed videos of the guy who was egging her on, and it was just another youngster.
Yeah.
It wasn't an older person. It was just another person in their 20s, really. They were just trying to. It was easy to get a lot of attention back then. They only had a few television channels, and MTV was a thing still. And if you did something outrageous, they'd put you on the news.
Well, the crazy thing about that, like I said, is that happened. How many years ago did that happen? It was a long time ago. And
it wouldn't
now
be noticed today.
Well, yeah, but it's like now when you say Sinead O'Connor, that's like one of the main things that people remember about her, like that shit she did on SNL, and that was like fucking decades ago, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, and if you were to do that today, you wouldn't get any attention at all.
That's what I mean. It would probably people would be outraged for like 5 minutes, and then they'd move on to the next thing that they were going to get mad about. If it was on SNL,
nobody would have seen it. People don't watch that anymore. They got no viewers. There's no those venues are dead. That mode of fucking communication is dead.
Well, like I said,
there's not had to have been like a YouTube star or a fucking
I mean, people
Instagram
still get
star.
outraged about stuff, obviously, but it's usually like a smaller percentage of the population. You're not going to get like the whole entire country being outraged about something.
No.
Like you were about like you were about like the whole Super Bowl thing with like Janet Jackson's nipple showing.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah.
Nipple.
It wasn't her nipple. It was a piece of jewelry around her nipple.
I know, that's what's so...
It's like a pasty.
Everyone's got a nipple, okay?
Right.
I mean, unless you're
I think all that was faked, actually.
Well...
I think the outrage was faked, also. I think the news media kept repeating how outraged everybody was. And they made a lot of money off of that.
Well, some people must have fallen for it and, like, thought they were outraged about it, too, because I remember everybody fucking talking about it. Even though I could not...
They were told to be outraged.
That's what I mean.
See, that's the thing.
I could not give a single shit about that.
Yeah, when you
I'm just like, it's a nipple. Everyone's got one.
When you understand sales and propaganda, not only did the television show you something, it told you how you were supposed to feel about it. It did that, but it was very subtle how they did it. And then they would repeat. They would use the same news. They would use the same corporate news media to tell you what everybody else thought about it, even though they were the source. And because they are telling everybody how everybody feels about it, they all go, oh, I guess that's how we feel about it. I don't feel that way, but I guess everybody else feels that way. There was a whole fucking book about it. What's it called? Manufacturing Consent. I forgot the name of the guy who wrote it.
Didn't Noam Chomsky write that?
Might have been. I think it might have been Noam Chomsky. Manufacturing Consent. The consent is always artificial, and that was the power that the news media has and the regular media. It shows you something and tells you how you think about it and how everybody else thinks about it.
Well, luckily for me,
they are the source.
I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about anything.
Yeah. and it's the same shit that's how...
Because who cares? I don't know those people.
Goes all the way back to fucking fascist propaganda from fucking Nazi Germany and shit, you know. They show you something and tell you how you think about it. And then they say, this is what everybody else thinks about it. You go, oh, I guess that's how we think about it. Yeah, it's mind control. That's why the CIA was so interested in that.
Well, see, that's why, like I said, that's why I'm very glad that I'm just not a joiner. And I'm not a person that gives much of a shit about what other people think about things. I'm usually, like, approach things like, how do I feel about this?
Yeah.
Without really like caring that much about what other people feel about it.
Anything that comes from a corporate source of information is always to be mistrusted. Always. Because there's money behind it, and it's a message telling you how to feel about something. And they're controlling what information you have, and then they're denying you other information that you could have, but they're not going to talk about that. So everything is... And it was done through television for fucking what, nearly 100 years? Well, I guess it's nearly 100 years, 80 years now.
I'm trying to think of
good thing television is dying.
When TV became widespread. I know it was invented. Well, 50s. TV was invented in probably like the early 20th century, or maybe actually late 19th century.
I think it was 30s. Well,
but I think it didn't really become widespread until like the 40s.
Television was invented before World War II.
It was,
so it was in the late 20s, early 30s.
It's just that it didn't
never
proliferate.
Got big.
It didn't proliferate until later.
And when the world wars happened, they put it all on hold.
Yeah, because we were watching that. Yeah. There's a really good, and I think Oracle actually recommended it. It was that History Channel series. What the hell is it called? The Machines That Made America?
Something like that.
Or something like that. There's a whole series of them. But yeah, and it just goes into... And it goes into like all this. It goes into TV. It goes into like washing machines. And it's fascinating. It's really, really good. And I think they're like all on... They might all be on Hulu now, actually. Because we've been watching them on there. John Gora said, didn't the lead singer of the Cranberries snuff herself too?
No.
Yeah, Dolores Riordan.
She died in the bathtub from drinking. But I think it was an accident.
Well, I don't know if it was an accident or it might have been suicide. I don't know.
They
Well,
tell
because
us it was an
sometimes,
accident.
well, that's what I mean. Sometimes when people commit suicide, there's still kind of a stigma about it, and so like a lot of times they'll try to like make it seem. I guess they're trying to preserve the person's dignity in some way because there's accidentally, but it's like, is that better? I don't know. I feel like it's probably bad to like say that they didn't kill themselves.
That girl could sing, man. She could sing and she was cute. I liked her.
She was rad. I liked her too.
Yeah.
I liked the Cranberries. I mean, that's fucking.
Yeah.
I get it.
Pure Irish girl.
I mean, I get it. I get why people do that.
Yeah.
I do, but it's just kind of.
She
like,
drank like a fish, though. She was just fucking.
Sure.
She couldn't keep her nose out of it. I think it was probably an accident. Although who knows?
That's what I mean. It could have been an accident, but she was just kind of like, I don't give a fuck.
I think it might have been that. What it was. She just
Right.
drank herself into a stupor in a damn bathtub and died.
Yeah, and she
didn't
wasn't.
care
Yeah,
if
she
she
didn't
lived or
really
died.
care.
Right.
Which that's really sad. It's really sad. Oracle says about Sinead O'Connor, she ripped up the Pope photo because she'd witnessed clerical abuse. No one believed her back then. Which, like I said, is kind of sad because I remember some people coming out back then and talking about the widespread abuse that was going on in the Catholic Church. And it was kind of, I don't know if it was necessarily like, I don't know if I would say it was ignored, but I think that a lot of people were just kind of like sort of pushed it under the rug, kind of like they didn't really want to talk about it. Like now, everybody knows about that shit. But back then, not so much. I think they kind of thought, but so it went on for like years and years. To a, to an extent, we should probably do a show about that. Although that's like a huge topic. You'd probably have to concentrate just like on one fucking city, to be honest. Like if you wanted to like narrow it down, because it's so fucking widespread. And then like for years and years they had a thing where it's like, well, we have all these priests in this one diocese that are abusing all these people, but it's like, we'll just move them to this other city. It'll be fine.
Well, there was
get him out of our hair.
There was,
and that happened a lot.
There was a case where the Catholics had a bunch of schoolgirls. I guess they were for wayward girls, and in the meantime, they were pimping them out to the police.
Yeah.
Remember that? And that nun found out about it, and they killed her.
Well, that was that was. Did we ever show? I remember writing about that. That was Sister Kathy Sesnick.
Yeah.
That was a Netflix series.
Pimping the schoolgirls out to the cops.
I believe it.
And local politicians.
I believe it.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. That was a big organization, and they weren't highly supervised, and they had access to kids. It's only a matter of time before there's something like that's going to happen, because if you have access to kids, the pedos are going to try to work their way into that system, and over time they got fucking real corrupt like that. The average Catholic wouldn't approve of any of that shit.
No, of course not. And like I said, I'm not impugning the entire Catholic religion because of that. Like I said, I'm not a fan of religion in general, but I'm just saying I would never impugn just like a regular, just on the street Catholic just because of that. I'm just saying that it's like...
It's kind of like Scientology. And their orgs. They had so many of these little orgs and shit. You never know what these individual leaders are doing. They didn't have a lot of oversight.
Yeah, and if you have power over people who are more vulnerable than you and you don't have a lot of oversight, then that's going to lead to problems. Most people are probably going to be fine or they're going to just like do whatever, but it's like that's always going to attract a certain kind of people. And honestly, any job that where you have to like deal with a lot of kids, like Catholic priests or Boy Scout leaders, shit like that, you're always going to get a certain percentage of dudes, of pedos that are going to come in there like specifically for that reason. So you can't like shit on everybody in the profession because of that, because it's generally just a small percentage, but it is going to happen. Any kind of job that necessitates you interacting with a lot of kids all the time. So
Oracle's talking to me about Adam Eats the 80s.
Yeah.
What does it say?
If you want to flashback to your teen years, try Adam Eats the 80s.
I had that. That was a white album with a black image of Adam Ant on it. It had Beat My Guest on it and a whole bunch of... Yeah, I had that album, I think. I had that on...
I don't think that's an album. I think that's a YouTube.
Oh, is it?
Channel.
Okay, I had an album, an Adam Ant album.
Either that or a series. I can't remember.
Then I don't know it. Then I had an album that was an Adam Ant album that was I thought it was named that.
I mean, it could be, but I can't really remember.
It was like
Oracle said Adam Eats the 80s is a TV show where he eats foods that were big in the 1980s.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought there was an Adam Ant B-side album. That's what it was called. B-side something or other. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, and Oracle said it's on Hulu now. Ooh, I might have to watch that. Because I love all that. I love, like, the Weird History Food channel. And I especially like when they talk about, like, all the 80s shit. Some of the food back then. I mean, the 80s food is weird, but it's not as weird as the 70s food. You know
80s
what I
food
mean?
was fucking gloopy in the United States. It was all white gravy on shit.
That's true.
Starchy, heavy, stodgy shit. Always had some kind of damn country gravy on it. Like fucking.
And it's weird because when I was growing, like, I'm not a huge fan of putting tons of gravy or sauce or something. Like, I like to taste the actual food, not like all the stuff that you're putting. Like, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I like a little bit of sauce or like a little bit of gravy, but it's like sometimes like the shit they would have like if you go to like fucking, even nowadays, if you go to Cracker Barrel or someplace like that, like they'll just drown shit in gravy. It's like, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. Sorry, I'm not being a snot. I just can't eat it. I just can't eat that.
Everything looked like fucking clam chowder. Some kind of white
and nothing wrong. And look, I love clam chowder.
Yeah, everything looked like a white gravy on something.
It's like, wait, is there even any food under here, or is this just soup?
It's a potato with cheese on it and bacon bits with hash browns on top of that, with a fucking some cheese on top of the hash browns, and then you pour fucking country gravy on it and put biscuits next to it. That's how the 80s food.
10,000 calories.
Yeah, 1 million calories.
God. Yeah. It's like, that's what I mean. It's like people eating like that. No wonder they fucking look like crap when they were fucking 50 years old.
Yeah.
Eating like that their whole fucking life.
It's just like I was saying before. Me and Soph were talking about it. It says, the people that are 70 now, they fucking, what they grew up eating was some fucking bullshit. At least in this country. In this country, what they grew up eating some fucking crazy crap you'd never see anymore. See any of that anymore.
I mean, you do, but it's like at least most people nowadays are just kind of like,
well, that's bad food.
They know that that's bad for you, and it's like, well, maybe I'll eat that once a year, like on a special occasion.
Tastes good, but it's bad for you.
Right. So it's like you don't really get.
And you'd only be able to get that at like Waffle House or Denny's, and I'm not sure.
Or Cracker Barrel.
Or Cracker Barrel. Yeah, Cracker Barrel.
And to be honest, even restaurants like that,
even they have cleaned up their act.
Have kind of like gone in more health, just because that's the way the market is going. Like you can't really get away with. These big, stodgy, 10,000 calorie plates anymore because a lot of people just won't eat those.
No, and the people that grew up on those are dead now.
Partially because they were eating that their whole life.
That,
And like I said, I'm not saying that shit's not delicious because it is.
Yeah.
But it's just like you can't eat like that. I for sure can't eat like that, especially not anymore. I could maybe eat like that when I was younger.
Yeah.
But even then, it was just kind of like, man, it would make me feel really ill.
Yeah, they had that, and then when I was up in Michigan, all your ma and pa Italian restaurants all had the same fucking Cisco backing, Cisco food delivery, and it was all the fucking same lasagna, the same pizza, the same fucking sauce. Everything was exactly the fucking same. And it was like 1 million calories. Remember that?
I would just be horrified to know
those?
how many.
They probably didn't have those around here.
Well, no, they did.
They had that kind of shit. Yeah, all the Italian restaurants were the same. They were like Italian fast food. It was just...
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots and lots of mostaccioli.
Well, that's what and honestly, like, if you watch some of those old, like, Gordon Ramsay, like, not Hell's Kitchen, but Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmare.
Like, he went to a lot of those kind of, like, shitty, old-fashioned, like, Italian restaurants.
Yeah.
Where they had those massive menus and, like, they had these huge plates of fucking...
And nothing Italian about them. Nothing.
No, not really.
Not really. It was a mutated American version of Italian food.
Although I find, like I said, I find food history fascinating. And I especially find the history of various immigrants to the United States, like the way that their food... changed, like when they came here and started kind of trying to make it more marketable to American palates. And I find that really interesting too. And if you, like I said, if you look into anything like Italian restaurants, or even like Chef Boyardee, who is a real guy, by the way. Like the way that came about is like really, really interesting to me.
Yeah.
But Italian restaurants, you know, they're better now, I guess, than they used to be. But I think for a time, particularly in the 80s, you had this thing where
more was better.
Like you'd go in, they'd have this menu that was like a fucking novel.
Yeah. And
then you go in and they'd give you these massive plates of just
portions.
like all this stuff with just covered in like sauce and cheese, and it's just like
thousands and thousands of calories.
I'm sure it was
pasta, and just any old marinara sauce that they put on there.
Even thinking about that gives me heartburn nowadays. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like I couldn't really even eat that much when I was younger and I was much heavier. Yeah. But especially nowadays, like the older I get, like the less I can eat in one sitting without feeling like really, really ill. Yeah. Even when we go to the
Chinese buffet.
Chinese buffet, I've noticed that like every successive time we go, because we've gone like for the last few weekends, it's like, and I find myself like just being able to eat less and less, like as the time goes on. Like
that's good though.
I think last time I got one plate of just.
You want to go tomorrow?
Sure.
All right.
I think
get some shrimp. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and all I eat there, like I said, I don't eat any carbs.
Yeah, no, just meat, just protein.
I just eat and vegetables.
Yeah, protein.
That's all I eat is protein and vegetables.
Yeah. If you're a bodybuilder or you're into health, if you find a good Chinese buffet, you can get a clean meal in there. Eat the boiled shrimp.
Just don't eat any noodles or rice or anything. And look, I love noodles, okay, but it's like just don't eat any of that.
Right, but they got broccoli and fresh vegetables. And
they got a whole salad bar.
Salad bar, yeah.
They got like like really nice. They had like a cucumber and tomato kind of thing going on. Like I had some of that. They got like all kind of cold salads. They got hard boiled eggs,
chicken thigh.
Yeah, they got all kind of stuff
on a damn stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you can go in there and eat essentially zero carbs, and you can still like fill up.
Yeah, fill up on fucking protein.
But that's what I do. I go and get one plate, which is usually like broiled fish, some pepper steak which has green peppers and onions. Then I'll get like a little bit of chicken and a bunch of broccoli, a bunch of mushrooms. Yeah. And I'll have like a plate of that. And then I'll have a plate of like shrimp and a couple of scallops, and then or mussels rather.
Yeah, that's just up the road here. And then we after we get done with that, we go to the fucking Books A Million, and they have the fucking coffee place in there.
Joe Muggs,
and the girls know us there. They'll make us some fucking cold brew, fucking iced coffee.
Yeah, it wasn't even the special last month, and they made us a cinnamon toast one because we said, well, that was your best one, and she's like, well, I can make you one if you want. And I was like, yeah okay. Because they make a different flavor. Like the barista there, she makes different flavors like every time we go. So we had cinnamon toast crunch. That was the best one. And then she did like a peanut butter cup one. That was also good. Yeah. And then one time we were there, she did a raspberry Danish, which was good, but I'm not super into raspberry. But it was still good.
What makes them good is that they're not sweet. They're still kind of bitter.
They're very coffee forward, which I'm into because like I like the Starbucks drinks, but the Starbucks drinks are very sweet. Yeah. Like they're essentially like a milkshake that maybe had like a whiff of coffee flavor wafted over it for a second. But it's like the ones that she makes, you can still tell that it's the flavor that she makes, but it's still very, very coffee forward. Yeah. Which, I like what coffee tastes like. So I kind of want it to still taste like coffee and not like a milkshake. You know what I'm saying?
We've been streaming for over 2 hours.
I know.
You okay? Just lean a little bit.
I can see it. It's right there.
Just letting you know.
I can see it. I got glasses on. But so the girl that works there, she's always there like on Saturdays, and she's really cool. So she'll always make us something. I mean, we told her we like all of the stuff that she makes, but the cinnamon toast one was the best one. Cause man, can't beat fucking cinnamon and coffee. I love that shit together. Let's see. Magdalene Laundries. That's kind of another show that we should probably do, because that was a whole fucked up situation. Victor says, okay, I'm back. I had to leave as soon as I got here. Yeah, what happened? I wondered where you went. We're still here, just getting drunker and drunker. We're not going anyplace, so you know what I mean. We're not going anyplace tonight. So we're just sitting here getting drunk, like we usually do. Zach says, the Starbucks pumpkin spice is basic but good, and as they say, a million white girls can't be wrong. Honestly, yeah, and I know that it's kind of like a cliche that it's just like, oh, it's like the quintessential Karen drink, but I'm just gonna say, I like the pumpkin spice latte, okay? I like pumpkin spice stuff. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get it, but... And the thing about it is that when it comes out, it always reminds me, it's like, ooh, fall is coming, and it's like Halloween is coming. We were in Dollar General yesterday. I was going and buying some, like, some lunch shit and some cat food stuff. And they got some of their Halloween candy out already, and I was, like, so excited. It's like, I know it's only July, but Halloween shit is already starting to turn up in the stores. So, you know what I mean? And that's always makes me happy, because it's like, the quicker that fall comes, the better. Because I hate fucking summer. It's my least favorite. It's my least favorite season.
We don't have that much longer left.
And spring is my second least favorite season.
What do we got?
I hate spring and
summer. It's only
summer.
going to be hot another, what, 2-3 months maybe?
Well, no, it's going to be hot all year. But I'm just saying that it's like, well, maybe...
It cools down. Maybe
in October-ish, sometimes the nighttime starts cooling down, or the mornings are cooler.
Yeah, so a couple months.
Yeah.
Like
so it's like, so July's almost over.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. So
a couple months it'll start cooling down.
I'm just, and it's kind of sad. I don't like to like wish my life away, but it's like every time summer comes in Florida, I'm just like waiting for summer to be over. I hate summer. I hate it. I always hated it. Yeah, John Gora said Walgreens got the Halloween candy already. Yeah, Dollar General did too. They don't have a ton of it, but they do have like some, because I was like, ooh, look, like the Halloween candy. That always made, I love Halloween, so that makes me
Victor's back.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Victor said, I can't wait for these cold fronts to start dropping. Yeah, me too. I mean, it's going to be a while here in Florida because it's not even August yet. And July and August are the hottest months. And then you have September. And September is usually the worst month for, like, hurricane type shit. So, I mean, if a bad hurricane is going to hit, it's usually going to be in September. So we got to live through that. Hurricane season is technically not over until... November 30th? November 1st. November. I don't remember if it's the beginning of November or the end of November. But September is actually, even though it's not the hottest month, it's actually the worst month for hurricanes. Because so much heat builds up in the ocean, like over the hot months, that by the time September comes around, it's like the hurricanes get worse and worse. Hopefully we'll dodge it this year, but it's still early days.
Okay, what do you guys want us to talk about?
Zach says, I love fall most, but also because it's one of the only times a year in Indy where it looks pretty. Yeah, I mean, fall and winter. Growing up in Florida, I'm just always been like, and I'm always really jealous of people that grew up in places where there's actual seasons, like where the leaves changed and where there was like snow and stuff like that, because we don't have that. Like, our leaves don't really change. Everything's just green all the time. Sometimes the grass will die, but usually the grass dies from like it being too hot rather than it being fall, you know? So it's like sometimes the sun will just like bake the grass and kill it rather than it's because it's too cold, you know what I mean? So yeah,
I was never really emotionally connected to it. Seasons.
Well,
Boston had all that, and I didn't really care.
Well, like I said, I'm only like that because it's just kind of like you grow up in Florida, and it's just like the same, like all the time.
Yeah.
And it gets really old.
No, it's just hot, and then less hot, and it'll get a little bit cold, and then it goes back to hot and less hot.
That's what I mean. It's just kind of...
Yeah, and monsoon seasons. It's just, actually, the weather is very similar here. Well, no, I wouldn't say Korea. Korea gets a lot colder.
Because Korea gets super cold.
A lot colder, yeah.
It never gets super cold here.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and then it'll freeze, but it's like one night.
Yeah.
like out of the year.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh my god, one night it's gonna go down to like 29 degrees. Everybody cover up your fucking planes.
But I don't miss it. I'm not really turned on by snow. I don't really care.
No, I like cold weather.
Yeah.
I like cold weather. I like fall weather. I like cool weather. I don't like hot weather.
Because you don't live in it. After you've lived in it for a few years.
No, because like, you know, when I
get sick of
when I actually went to like the UK for a while and it was like really cold over there and rainy and stuff like that, I was really into that.
Doesn't get as cold there, I think, as it does in places like Michigan.
I don't. Well, no, but
I mean,
you know,
it
was like pretty cold. I mean, you get sick of anything that you experience all the time.
Right.
So because I grew up in Florida, I was born here. Like you get really sick of hot weather. It gets like really boring.
I like the South. You can ride all year round. Ride motorcycles all year round. Doesn't matter. Even in the cold weather, you can ride. It's not that cold.
Yeah, it's never gotten below. I think the coldest I've ever experienced here was probably like mid-20s.
Yeah.
Which is cold, but it's not that cold. You're not going to die or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're going to sit around and just talk about the weather? What you guys want to talk about?
We can talk about anything, Tom. Don't get all judgy.
Right. They're talking about the weather. Okay.
Why are you so cranky? You've been so cranky this whole show. John Gore said, up in New England, spring is always welcome.
Yeah.
Then Ben said, don't move to Australia then. We're looking at a very hot summer in a few months. Yeah, you guys have summer at the opposite time. I always forget that. Yeah, we're having summer now, and it's not super fun. Also because it kind of sucks because where I work, there's no break room.
Yeah, Victor, we could always talk about grits. We're going to talk about grits.
Tammy said, let's talk about Tom getting pegged.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, right,
let's talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, we'll see. Okay. So you don't want to talk about the weather, but we can't talk about you getting pegged, though?
We got people on the line. You want to talk about the weather, all right? What kind of shit is this?
Well, other people were talking about it, too. Other people were talking about it, too. Just because you don't want to talk about it doesn't mean other people don't.
I mean, that's like rock bottom to talk about the weather. That's rock bottom.
Zach said, can we talk about why breakfast food is the best food?
Breakfast food is the best food because you associate it with fucking coming out of the club at night, drunk off your ass, and the shit's fucking greasy and succulent, and it's eggs, sausage.
Eggs are always good. They're one of my
potatoes. Yeah. So there's just something about breakfast. Western, American, and English breakfast food.
Yeah, because I was going to say the English.
The English kind of have the same thing.
It's very similar.
Very similar. They do it a little bit differently, and then the South, our version of breakfast is different than the North's version of breakfast. We got different stuff on it, but it's still breakfast. And everybody would be satisfied by everybody else's breakfast, basically. The Chinese don't have breakfast, all right? Even Brazil, when I lived there, they don't have breakfast the way we have it. They have café de manhã, which means like morning coffee, which is coffee, maybe a little bit of orange juice, bread, like French bread type stuff with butter, and maybe like some melon.
Yeah, I feel like they do that in like France and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like that. All right.
Which is probably healthier, but...
Right. But we have real breakfast, which is based on an English breakfast. Our breakfast is based on English breakfast.
Like I said, it is very similar.
Yeah, that was the basis, and it mutated from there. Our breakfast is so good that even the Mexicans like our breakfast. Yeah.
Although the thing about it is,
too.
if you ate that for breakfast every day, you would die. You would die.
Yeah.
You would weigh 500 pounds, and you would die of like heart failure.
By
the time you were 30.
There are American Mexican breakfast fusion action happens too. Certain areas.
Can I tell you that one of my favorite things about staying in a hotel is that fucking breakfast buffet?
Yeah, breakfast buffet.
Well, because the thing about it is that because I get up so early to go to work and shit like that, it's like I never eat breakfast. I get up, I don't eat anything. I take like some iced coffee, like some black coffee with me to work, like I drink on the way there. But I don't eat anything until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Tammy's talking about me getting pegged with
grits
in a store, the snowstorm. Damn, Tammy, you're imaginative.
See how it is?
See, I got a Fansly account already set up. I don't have any video on it yet, though.
You need to make some shit for that. I keep waiting.
Yeah, I'm going to get these girls to fucking
keep telling... It's like, that's the thing. You keep telling me, it's like, you need to shoot this, that, and the other thing, but you haven't shot a single fucking thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe we can shoot something this weekend.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna have to fucking be the cameraman.
Okay.
All right. We can shoot something. I'll put that up on my Fansly.
I keep waiting for you to do it, but you never do it.
We got to get several things on the Fansly.
Yeah.
And if you guys know what Fansly is kind of like OnlyFans, but it's like ghetto OnlyFans. But we get paid more on Fansly. OnlyFans takes a lot from you. I got my Fansly account approved, and Jenny still hasn't gotten hers approved for some reason.
Yeah, it's taking forever.
They got to be fucking you over. They must have approved you, or something's wrong. Have you checked it lately?
No, I checked it a few days ago, but I didn't
It's probably approved by now. That way we can tag each other.
Yeah. That's another
I'll
place.
put some of the
That's another place we can put videos.
Yeah,
but like I said, I gotta set up many vids this weekend. See how much of a pain in the ass that is. Like I understand, like that you have to jump through a bunch of hoops because they want to make sure, look, everybody's consenting and everybody's underage and blah blah blah. Like I get that, but you know, it is kind of a pain in the ass when you're fucking 50 years old and they're asking you for all these fucking proofs of this and that. They're just like, look, I'm old. Just let me fucking put the shit up. It's fine. But yeah, so I don't know, man. It's like I feel like I always. The idea of like having like a big huge breakfast like at Denny's or something like that is always like super cool, but it's like I never, like I said, when I'm going to work I don't have time or inclination. I just have coffee and that's it. But even on the weekends, it's like usually by the time we get up and get dressed and do that kind of shit, it's like lunchtime. So, and then we usually just go to the buffet and eat shrimp. So, but every now and then I would like to go out and get some. There's actually like a breakfast place right down the street, like right next to the Publix. What the fuck is that place called? Sunshine, Sunrise?
I think it's gone now.
Something like that. Is it?
I think it's gone. Something went out of business over there. I think that was...
No, it wasn't that
wasn't
place.
That okay.
I think that's still there. There was something else next to it that went out of business. There's still like, there's an ice cream and coffee place there. I think that's still there. But like, yeah, I think it's called Sunrise Cafe or something. They're only open, they do lunch too, but I think they're only open until 2 in the afternoon. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's I think it's
Tammy's
hilarious.
saying she's covering all the fucking time.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious how everybody wants to see you get pegged. Huh?
Fuck you, bitch.
We brought up that idea and everybody's like, yeah, that should happen. And I'm like,
Me getting pegged is a fucking it's a female fantasy that's been happening throughout fucking the entire space-time continuum. They all want to see that.
But see, that's the thing. It's like, but see, that's the thing. Like, dudes expect women to cater to their fantasies, but they won't reciprocate. We say, hey, we want to see this, that, and the other. Like, no, I'm not doing that. But you have to do all this stuff, though. Like, for me. But you know what I mean. So, yeah, I'm just saying, that's how that goes.
Women don't buy enough. They don't pay enough. They don't buy porn. What am I going to do? I'm going to fucking put the dragon dildo on the end, stick that on the wall, and I'm going to back up to that bitch and just like fucking just rump ride that motherfucker. Just making all kinds of noise on pop, 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 pop like that.
Yeah, why not?
And I'm looking at the camera, fucking with my hand like, yeah, that's right.
Don't do that. It's dorky, but
yeah.
That would be funny though. I don't know how
bitches are crazy.
I don't know how boner inducing that would be, but it would be very funny.
I go through all that shit and make that video and fuck up my reputation and everything, and only fucking 3 girls would buy it.
Well, it's like
some dudes would buy it.
That's what I mean. I thought
then they'd share it. And you go look at Ross. Look at what he's doing.
I mean, do you really have that much of a? I got a rep to protect. Do you really have that much of a rep to protect, Tom?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Hell yeah.
You think?
Fucking right.
Victor says, I want to see Tom get pegged by a dude.
Yeah, Victor, we know you do.
I would like to see that too, but...
Victor wants to come down here and do that
I know
shit.
for sure I'm never going to see that.
Yeah.
Unless I figure out how to do, like, 3D animation to a good enough standard, which I may just do.
You fucking whores. All you whores.
I'll do a deep fake.
I saw some fucking deep fake porn. I was quite impressed. It was a deep fake of fucking Rey Skywalker from fucking Star Wars. She was in a gangbang. Somebody deep faked.
Yeah, see, the deep fakes are really.
Yeah. I was like, God damn. What's that girl? What's that actress's name?
Oh shit.
Fucking Australian accent.
Wait, I knew it.
Yeah. which I don't understand.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley, yeah. Daisy Ridley as fucking Rey Skywalker in a gangbang. It was a deep fake. I laughed at it, but I mean, Daisy Ridley's she's a cute chick, but there's just nothing sexual about that character at all. It's one of the most unsexiest characters in all the fucking Star Wars. She was probably, I was surprised to say, a lot of girls, like even you told me that fucking Luke Skywalker was not sexy. The Han was sexy, but not Luke. And Rey was even less sexy than fucking...
Well, because Luke seemed too much like a kid.
Yeah.
He seemed like a kid.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the same thing was true of Rey. She seemed very young, and I don't think she was really supposed to be, like... She wasn't portrayed as being sexy in any way.
Those movies were fucking abominations, really.
But like I said, I think Han Solo was sexy because he was older.
He was funny.
And he was funny, and he kind of had more of, like, a personality type of thing. And he was kind of more of, like... I don't know if I want to say like, well, he was kind of like more hard to get, I guess.
He was the bad guy, kind of the
and kind of guy. He wasn't like a bad dude. Like he was a good dude, but he was just kind of like a little bit like morally gray.
See, they changed Han a bit. Okay, I remember in 1977, I fucking saw that shit, fucking Man's Chinese Theater down in fucking L.A. When I was a kid. My dad took us to me. And fucking, I love that movie, man. We saw that thing like fucking 4 times in a row. Fucking like every few days we go back and see it again. My dad loved it too. They changed Solo. Solo shot first. He shot Greedo and killed him. They let you know right from the very beginning that fucking Han was dangerous. Okay.
Well, and you figured Greedo probably fucked him over. Like you thought
Greedo was gonna fucking turn him
That's
in.
what I mean. There was probably like a reason that he did that.
There was gangsters. They were gangsters.
That's what I mean. So everybody back then was just kind of like, well, he probably had that coming.
They were all outlaws anyway. when it's 2 outlaws, it doesn't matter. It's, you know what I mean. It's in the world of the underworld. You know what I mean. But that's what made Han so cool, is that he was dangerous. You know what I mean?
But he was a good guy.
He was a good guy. But he was just dangerous.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, he was dangerous, and that's what made that character so good. Even though it was not fully explained, and he was actually, if you go back and you watch the movies, it's very G-rated. The way he was with fucking Princess Leia and everything, I thought it was very cute. You know, but come on, you know you love me and all that kind of stuff. You know, and him fucking trying to work his charms on this fucking princess. Some of that shit we're like, wait a minute, hold on, he forced himself on her. Like, yeah, that's the way it was back then. Fucking, but the thing is that Han knew he could read body language, man. He knew fucking Princess Leia had the hots for him. She was just holding it back. You know, he was a fucking scoundrel. He knew she was into him, and she was.
But like I said, I think the reason why that character worked, and I think here's what a lot of people like misperceive. It's just like, oh, like all these, you know, women, they like bad boys and stuff like that. They don't like bad boys like villains. They don't like evil people.
Yeah.
They like dudes that are deep down good dudes.
Yeah.
But are willing to do some like morally questionable shit if necessary
to get it done.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of feel, because Han Solo wasn't a bad guy.
No.
He wasn't evil. He wasn't sociopathic. He had an honor code.
Yeah.
He just did like some
he was
kind
honest.
of... Yeah, he was honest. He did some questionable shit, but it wasn't anything like he wasn't...
He was a drug smuggler.
Right.
He was a drug smuggler, but he was in organized crime. There's different kinds of guys that they're looking for, and when it comes to things like smuggling and shipping and fucking certain kind of transactions, you have to be a criminal, but you have to be an honest criminal. Your chain of command has to be able to trust you.
Right.
That you're saying that the numbers are correct and you're reliable. You know, it's not.
So he's like, so it's kind of like the perfect thing, because he's kind of like, he's willing to do stuff outside the law if he needs to, but he's still like a good, honest dude. Like he wouldn't do anything to fuck you over. Like I said, he's not like a sociopath or anything like that. He still has a code of honor of his own.
Yeah. But
and then John Gora said Han wanted to believe in something besides himself and his own lookout. Yeah. He also asked, you guys ever cover Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I
Yeah.
only just saw it very worthwhile. That was a great
Yeah, I own it. We own
movie.
it.
We
I
saw
love
it. We saw it twice in the theater.
Yeah.
I think we did a review of it. Did we
Yeah, I
not?
think-
Like
I think
after
so.
we saw it in the theater,
Yeah.
I think we did a review
Saw it
of
twice
it.
in the theater, and then I bought it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
I think I bought it for you for
anything
Christmas
you want
or
to
your
ask me
birthday or
about it, I've
something
seen
like
it many times. If you want to ask me anything about it, I can answer about that. What he was talking about with what was that? What did he say about it? Oh yeah, Han wanted something outside of himself. Han wanted to like you're correct. Han wanted to learn how to not be selfish.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was his whole character arc.
Right. He was a selfish dude who was self-reliant. He was a good guy, but he wanted to have friends and to have a higher purpose and to be altruistic. And that's what he became altruistic
Yeah.
in the end of A New Hope. He didn't have to go back and go to the Death Star and be in.
Yeah, he could have just left.
Yeah, he could have just left, but he went back to the Death Star. And when he got there, he saw that Luke was in trouble, and he fucking saved Luke so Luke could make the fucking shot. And if Luke hadn't have made that shot, the Death Star wouldn't have been destroyed.
Right.
So in a way, Han's support made Luke and the end of the Death Star possible.
Yeah.
Without Han, that wouldn't have happened probably. Because yeah, Luke was strong with the dark side, but he wasn't fully trained, and he wasn't fucking a god or infallible. He could have missed that shot. He could have been shot before he took the shot. But Han was there and saved him.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like I said, that was the whole point of his character arc. Yeah, the original Star Wars was Luke's hero's journey, but Han had his own parallel, and Leia had her own parallel thing too.
Yeah.
But Han had his own parallel thing where he was learning to be, like you said, less self-centered.
Yeah.
Like, he was a good guy before. He wasn't a villain or anything like that, but he just had never had any cause to rise above himself and sacrifice himself for other people that he cared about. And the fact that he was given that opportunity and he actually rose to the occasion, that was kind of his big character moment.
Groundbreaking story. Okay. Would have never happened today. They would never write a story like that now. Because if you actually read in between the lines, Han is a drug smuggler. He's a drug smuggler. That's what Han was. Okay. In a movie today, he'd have been fucking just been treated like shit. But he was a drug smuggler. That'd be the equivalent of fucking the dude working for the Mexican cartels, bringing in fucking fentanyl or something. That's basically what he was doing. But he was more than that. That's just what he was doing. That's not what kind of guy he was.
He was just trying to make
He
money,
eventually
man. We all
grew out of that. And so the moral of the story is that people can be redeemed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it meant.
Which is a good message.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's sure, I'm cynical and shit like that, but most people are okay people. Like, if given the opportunity, most of them would probably be alright. You know what I mean? Very few people are just, straight up evil. So, I like that they made him, like you said, a morally gray character. Where he was kind of operating outside of the law. He wasn't really doing anything to hurt anybody directly, but still.
Him shooting Greedo would have been second-degree murder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But like I said,
any
right?
law in the
But
United States.
nobody blamed him at the time because it's it was probably him or
exactly.
It's he was going to get shot otherwise.
But
so
the thing is that
it
goes to show you in that morality tale that legality is not morality. All right, had that been in a civilized place, even here in the South, which some people might say is not that civilized. Place like New Orleans or something. No, he would have gotten second-degree murder for that. All right. But in reality, what you're dealing with two gangsters. They're not in society. They're outside of society. So they're kind of fair game for each other. The law wouldn't see it that way, but that's how they saw it.
Yeah.
And I agree more with that. You know, it was a situation.
Well, and I have to say, too, that in the original movie, it probably softened the blow somewhat that Greedo was not a human. So it's probably, like, easier for audiences at the time to, like, stomach it. But it's like, well, he was an alien, so is that right?
Han killed a lot of stormtroopers, and those were humans. And
That's true.
And they worked for the government.
But they were faceless. They were in the...
Yeah, but
so it's like you could rub out a bunch of stormtroopers. Well, and in a way...
All soldiers are like that.
Well, I know, but it's like, I kind of like that the newer ones introduced the idea of, like, a stormtrooper guy that, like, escaped, like, got out of there. So it's like it humanized the stormtroopers. So it also kind of made you, like, go back to the earlier ones and be like, man, they, like, rubbed out all this stormtroopers. And some of those dudes might have been like, look, I'm just here, like, punching a clock, man. It's like, I don't really believe any of this bullshit. And it's like, and they're just getting shot left and right.
People fail to realize that at the time of the New Hope, all right, the Empire is the legitimate government. They're the legitimate government. They're the recognized legitimate government of the galaxy, all right? And the stormtroopers would be like the equivalent of the U.S. Army and the Navy combined. So really, Luke and Han and all those guys fucking in the Death Star, fucking breaking the princess out of prison and shit, they're terrorists. If you were to do that to the United States right now, they would just call you a terrorist. But that's really what it was. You know, that's what they're doing. That's what they were. The Rebel Alliance was a terrorist group, basically.
Well, that's why I kind of liked Rogue One, because it kind of...
showed you that that's what it was.
leaned into that, but they were still, like, the good guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ben says, when we were kids, we thought the stormtroopers were robots. Yeah, so did we, when we were little. And then later, you're like, oh, wait, that was... I didn't even realize that until the part in A New Hope where Luke and Han, like, steal the stormtroopers' uniforms, and I was just kind of like, oh, shit, that's just, like, armor. Those are people under there.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were robots, too. Ben says, when you were talking about being a drug dealer being like the hero or whatever.
Yeah.
Ben says, I saw a movie like that recently. There was a single mom smuggling meth in a truck across the border. It was called something like Midnight Express.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of stories nowadays about, like, sympathetic drug dealers. Well, shit, they made a whole series about a sympathetic serial killer, Dexter. So... in a lot of ways, I kind of feel like it's more likely that they would make that shit nowadays because everybody's into, like, the anti-hero. They make a lot of stuff about anti-heroes nowadays. So everybody likes, like, somebody that's kind of, like, not necessarily a good person as being the main character.
No, Greedo wasn't considered a law enforcement officer. Greedo was basically a bounty hunter. Remember, he was trying to collect a bounty.
Didn't he work for Jabba the Hutt, though?
Yeah, but he was trying to collect the bounty that Jabba wanted. He did work for the Hutts.
The Hutts.
Yeah, that's what they called them, the Hutts.
The Hutt family.
Well, it wasn't a family, it was a race. The Hutts were fucking a race of gangsters.
Yeah,
basically.
Jabba the Hutt, Bubba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Zorba the Hutt.
But they were in, weren't they called, wasn't it called the Outer Rim?
I think that's what they said, yeah.
I think it might have been called the Outer Rim. The place where Tatooine was outside of the Republic. So it was the Badlands. It was run by the Hutts. And they had slavery there even. All right, and it was not a good place. Evidently the Empire was there, but it wasn't fully part of the Empire. So Greedo, would have been kind of like a law enforcement officer because he worked for the Hutts. And the Hutts ran the place.
Which technically is a law, but not in the sense that you might be thinking of it.
Well, I don't think they had a legitimate government.
Right. Yeah, Victor says Pizza the Hut. Yeah, like the
Pizza the Hut. Yeah.
Well, that was.
It's fucking
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
I'm sorry, I love Spaceballs. Have you seen that in a while? You've seen that, right?
Yeah, I couldn't stand that one for some reason.
Really?
I didn't. Yeah, by that I thought.
I really like Spaceballs.
I thought that was towards that. When I saw that movie, I thought Mel Brooks had fucking like reached the end of his fucking directorial fucking lifespan. I just thought the humor was bad.
I like Spaceballs. I didn't love Robin Hood Men in Tights,
Yeah.
Although that I haven't seen that in a long time, so I should probably go back and rewatch it.
Although I went back and watched History of the World, and it wasn't funny either. I thought it was funny when I was a kid, but he's not that funny. That humor didn't age that well. Although High Anxiety might be good.
I haven't seen that in a while either.
Yeah.
I kind of want to rewatch some of that. I mean, Blazing Saddles is still funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's still really
Blazing
funny.
Saddles.
Young Frankenstein is still funny.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein is still fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
We just watched that a few months ago, and that's still fucking funny. John Gora said, I loved the Jabba the Hutt lair as a kid with all those monsters.
Yeah.
We had the Jabba the Hutt playset, me and my brother.
You passed a lot of stuff. John's asking about when Pitt stunned me. He must have been asking me a question. Remember, he was about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah.
What's he saying? When Pitt's stuntman saying no to the hitchhiker's proposition under the pretense of wanting to be within statutory laws, just seeing to keep up his strength for the rescue mission at the ranch. I don't know exactly.
Remember, like, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when he picks up that teenage girl?
Yeah, the girl was from the family.
Yeah,
Manson's
and
family.
she's, like, all trying to, like,
Yeah,
get
she's
him.
trying.
And he's, like, kept asking her how old she was.
Yeah, and she went to, what about it?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, but I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm just saying that's what he's referring to.
You have to ask it a little more explicitly because I can't get it. Something about his power for the final what? Rescue? Do you see it?
I don't know. It's like, it's scrolled way up here. Ugh. What is this? Oop, shit. What happened? Okay. Something popped up and like fucking... now I can't find it. Oh, and Pitt stuntman saying to the hitchhiker's proposition, the pretense of wanting to be with statutory laws seemed to keep up his strength for his rescue mission at the ranch. Oh, okay, so I get what he's saying.
I don't get it.
So he's saying that Brad Pitt picking up the hitchhiker who was a teenager. And then they had this whole thing where she was trying to jump on that dick, and he's just like, look, how old are you? And blah, blah, blah. But it's like the fact that he didn't succumb to that, like, helped him, like, maintain his strength for the later battle that he had, like, at the ranch where he had to, like, confront. Because remember, he punched out that dude. And
So he's saying fucking the girl would have made him weak? I don't understand it.
Never mind, Tom.
No, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Never mind.
No, you can screw all kinds of girls. You don't get weaker. You can still fight.
Victor says Gremlins 3 is supposed to come out at the end of the year.
Oh,
Y'all
shit.
should review the first two. I think we did the first one, like, as a Christmas review, right? Yeah, we did the first Gremlins either last Christmas or the Christmas before. I don't remember if we done Gremlins 2. I don't like Gremlins 2 as much because it's more of, like, an overt comedy. Whereas I feel like the first one is not a horror movie necessarily, but it's much more of a black comedy. I don't know, the second one's much funnier. It's, like, more satirical, which... It's still good, but it's, like, it's not... It's too much in the comedy end of things.
He answered.
Seemed to make psychological sense for Pitt to not blow his load before going about his good deed. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like he's saying, just, like, from a movie standpoint, that was kind of, like, important that he was able to be like, yeah, no, I'm not going down that route. I got this other shit I gotta do, like, later on. It doesn't have anything to do with, like, really, oh, I can fuck all these chicks and still fight. Like, you know what I mean? That doesn't have anything to do with anything. He's talking about, like, in a narrative sense. That's what he was talking about.
I just thought they were just trying to let you know that he was a good guy.
Well, that too.
Right.
They're just he's not gonna take advantage of, even if something is, like, just apparently, like, given to him on a platter.
Yeah.
Like, he's just gonna be like, nah.
Yeah, I just...
Which, like I said, that does... It demonstrates that he's, like, a decent dude. Because,
that's
like...
how I interpreted it.
Right. Like, a lot of dudes would just be like, okay. You know what I mean? And not worry about it.
I wouldn't say a lot of dudes. I'd say about half of them.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I don't know, man. I don't know if half is a lot.
It is a lot.
Because a lot of dudes are shitty. All right.
Exactly.
I think more than half.
Well,
of
that's
dudes
what
are
I'm.
shitty. I think even a lot of.
Well, yeah, you got no argument for me on that score.
I think a lot of. I think even a lot of the shitty guys that go like, nah.
Well, and I think a lot of the shitty dudes would go nah, not because they didn't want to, but because they were afraid they would get in trouble.
Well, yeah, of course you're gonna want to. You're gonna want to. Yeah, it's just that's just biology. You can go, but she wants to fuck, man. She's cute. I probably shouldn't do this though. You're just gonna do that, you know. That's how it is. They were just the way my interpretation is that they wanted you to know that the Brad Pitt's character, the stuntman character, that he was a good guy.
Yeah.
All right, that he he had principles. All right, and they also wanted you to know that he wasn't desperate. I mean, he was a good-looking guy in Hollywood. He had all kinds of women. You know, he didn't need to take advantage of some homeless, semi-homeless hippie chick from Charles Manson's cult. You know what I mean? That wasn't his style. He had higher standards than that. Even though she was cute, but they also wanted you to know that she had hair underneath her arms. Remember that?
Which maybe like helped him to be like, no,
yes,
thanks.
yeah. If you got hair underneath your arms, I'm gonna make it the fuck out of here. You know, because I'm immediately gonna be like, you got bad hygiene. Even I don't have hair underneath my arms. I shave my underarms. Okay. I shave my underarms, man. It's stinky ass shit.
It does help, like with
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like some people, but yeah, it is much easier to not have that.
Yeah.
Tammy said, anyone seen Oppenheimer yet? You know what? Yeah. We were going to go see it last weekend, but one, I discovered that it was 3 hours long, and two, we had planned to go see it on last Saturday, and then I got like a whole bunch of like freelance work, and I was just kind of like, man, I really can't justify like sitting in a movie theater for 3 hours when I could be like working on all of this stuff, even though I really wanted to see it. So we ended up like not seeing it. I still really want to see it though, so we'll get around to it. But like I said, I just didn't have time last weekend, which sucked. Ben said Brad Pitt's character was the knight in shining armor of the fairy tale. Yeah, exactly. Tammy said, yeah, but she was a hippie of the 70s. Yeah, I kind of feel like that was a whole thing. That was a whole thing. And it wasn't just hippies, because I kind of feel like a lot of people, the 70s were just kind of like all about being natural, man. So everybody had not everybody, but a lot of people had like underarm hair and bush and everything like that. Like people weren't like really worried. Now everybody's just like, man, shave all that shit off. But you know, back then it wasn't like that. They weren't grossed out by it. I don't know. I don't feel one way or the other about it. I'm just kind of like, look, it's other people's bodies. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. Hair doesn't gross me out one way or the other. So, I personally don't want it there, so I just shave everything off. But if other people want it, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't gross me out or anything. So I don't know. I'm not bothered.
Although one thing I do want to say about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now that I'm coming in from the restroom, coming in here. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did call a lot of shit that was pretty cool. And one of the things that movie addressed, and fucking Quentin, me and Quentin go way back. We went to the same elementary school, man. We went to Dominguez Elementary School. He was a couple years older than me, but I remember him. I remember that dude. He ended up working at the fucking video store next to the Mexican restaurant my dad used to take me to when I was a kid. It was called El Ranchitos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that place. And next to that fucking Mexican restaurant and that video store that Quentin Tarantino worked was the library where I would see the World War II books.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was right there. Quentin talked about Bruce Lee. And they had the fucking scene where the Brad Pitt's character, the stuntman, fucking threw Bruce Lee into the fucking car door. Fucking shit fucked it up. Evidently something like that did happen. That character is based on a real stuntman, and evidently that did happen. People forget that Bruce Lee was not a professional fighter. Bruce Lee came from Hong Kong theater type stuff. He did do a few martial arts events, but his management told him, "Look, man, you can't do that. You're gonna get hurt, and you're gonna miss your shooting schedule." Because I think he was doing fucking Green Hornet at that time.
Yeah,
they didn't want him getting hurt. I've done a lot of research on Bruce. Not a lot, but yeah, I guess I've done a lot. But they got other dudes that are just total freaks that are fucking know everything about the guy. I'm not that much into him, but I thought he was an interesting guy. Listen to some of his interviews. And everything he says, man, fucking just matches up with my experiences just in fucking military and fighting and just how to live and, fucking, there's a certain amount of fucking Buddhist philosophy type stuff in there. And he's talking about imagining martial arts that really didn't have the same rules that they were used to, and being able to find out to go beyond certain fighting styles, to be free-formed, and try to find what the best way to fight is. To be fluid, not really be constricted in a style. Which in those days, that was almost kind of like outlaw thinking, because you had to fight within the confines of boxing or some kind of martial arts match. What he's talking about is something free-for-all fucking fighting. And this this is what sparred on these movies about like the Kumite and blood sports and fucking old, what's his name? What was that guy's name?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No. The guy who fucking said who Bloodsport was based upon.
Oh, right.
Fucking, what was his name? Old fake. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
what was that fucker's name?
Oh, shit.
I'll think of it.
I'll remember it in a minute, yeah.
Frank Dux.
Frank Dux, yeah, Frank Dux. Frank Dux and the Kumite.
I knew I'd think of it in a second.
Death matches and death sports and shit. Which, that was fucking like an unimaginable shit back in the fucking 80s. 70s and 80s. Oh no, that'll never happen. You'd get arrested if you did anything like that. Fought without any rules and kicked people in the head, Oh no, that's too deadly. It's funny because those were kind of like macho ties, but they were actually not as macho as you think they were. Yeah, dudes were killing each other on a football fucking courts, but their thinking was kind of limited when it came to fighting sports. What Bruce Lee was talking about was MMA. It's just the MMA didn't exist then.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little ahead of his time.
It was ahead of his time. He's talking about MMA. Before MMA, you had ultimate fighting, which when that first appeared, man, people were like, man, is that legal? Can you actually do that? And ultimate fighting led to MMA. And Bruce Lee was right. MMA is how you fight, not Kung Fu. MMA. Yeah. Now, was Bruce Lee as good as he said he was? Yeah. In his time, he was fucking fast. He would have fucked up a lot of dudes back in those days. Now, could you take Bruce Lee and put him in an MMA fight? No, he'd get his ass whipped. He's too light. But Bruce Lee was talented. In his prime, if you would have shown him an MMA match, showed him what the standards were, he'd have went into training and gained weight and gone in there and would have done good. He would have done real good. In his day, he was good. But he wasn't superhuman. Big dude could pick him up and throw him into a car door, just like what was in that movie. So, yeah.
Yeah, because he was, like, really ripped, but he was small.
He was ripped, but he only weighed like 140 pounds.
Yeah, he was small.
And he was, I think, 5'5" or 5'6". He could move fast, but he didn't have any ground game. He didn't wrestle. He didn't fucking know holds and shit. But he could have learned that. He was good. Even though he was an actor, he did practice martial arts type sparring, and the philosophy behind it. So no, I give credit to Bruce Lee. He was imagining a coming system. We would know it as MMA.
Gramthars says, bunches of hirsute girls with hairy pits are on Stream8. It's a little freaky in a cool way.
Granthars is getting up in a stream, mate. I guess what's going to happen is we're going to be out there streaming, and Granthars is going to jump in our fucking stream. Isn't that right, Grant?
We have already had.
We've already had
one
had
person.
Fans. Yeah. come into the stream and we've done
come
shows.
in the stream and like talking to them and like we did a show for them.
Yeah, if you see us in stream, mate, you can either tell us who you are, or if you want to remain anonymous, that's cool with us. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't make it weird.
It's not weird.
We were kind of talking to this person about that, and I was just kind of like, well, I wasn't weirded out though. Not really.
No, we're not.
And matter of fact, I actually thought it was cool because it's like somebody that, and this was somebody that watches all our shows. They don't comment a lot, but they watched all our shows. So they kind of like, so we could like interact with them and talk to them and shit like that. Because to be honest, like a lot of the people that come up on StreamMate, like they don't, you can't really interact with them very much, like as far as talking. You like ask them questions and they don't answer, or they just like answer with like 1 or 2 words. So it's kind of hard to have like a conversation with them. So it was kind of cool like that somebody came on and like knew us already, so you could like kind of talk to them already, and it made me like a lot more comfortable, I guess. So I wasn't weirded out at all. I actually really liked it, but you know.
Nate was talking about how the Manson family and was coded as the Viet Cong. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
How did it go? Read it to me again.
I dug how both Bruce Lee and the Manson kids at the end are coded as Viet Cong.
How were they coded as Viet Cong? I don't remember it, but I haven't seen the movie in a while.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't remember. How,
like I said, it's been a while since we've seen it. Probably been like a year since we've seen it.
Oh, but some people were kind of pissed off that Brad Pitt's character threw Bruce Lee into the car and fucked it up. Oh, that would never happen. No, that did happen. Evidently, that did happen by people who were in that scene. They were all partying, you know, Hollywood people, and evidently that did happen. That the guy that Brad Pitt's character was based on did pick up Bruce Lee and threw his ass. I don't know if it broke the car door, but he was just a big, strong dude, and Bruce was a little guy, you know, a little lightweight guy. So that's totally plausible. And they weren't fighting to the death or anything. They were just playing around, you know. But Bruce was good. He'd be a lot to handle in his day. The 70s were a time where fucking physical fitness really wasn't a priority, and people didn't train for combat type sports. You know, the most common thing would have been boxing. Oriental martial arts were seen to be real mysterious and otherworldly. People weren't sure what they could do. I mean, when I was a kid in the 80s, you can ask Gramthars, man, we'd go up to fucking 7-Eleven, play video games, and look at Black Belt magazine, and they would make all kinds of outrageous claims.
Yeah, they believed in like magic.
It was almost like magic. Could a person actually fucking force their hand through the iron grills of a fucking manhole cover into a 4-inch spot,
throw
and
a
pull
chi
it
ball
back out, and throwing chi balls and shit? You weren't quite sure. I mean, shit, you're playing fucking Street Fighter, and they're like, getting fucking dudes throwing fucking chi balls and fucking. You weren't quite sure what was real. And then they had a buddy that used to hang out with us, fucking Jim, and Jim was into fucking the martial arts. Fucking, I think it was Taekwondo. No, it wasn't Taekwondo. I don't remember which one it was. And then my stepbrother, fucking Gramthars remembers him. He was a fucking high level Taekwondo guy. He just beat people's asses for fun. He'd beat like 3 dudes' asses at once in high school. So we weren't quite sure what was possible. This is pre-internet, you know. So it was a magical time.
Well, it's kind of weird because I kind of feel like in the 70s and 80s there was this whole weird like mystery of the Orient type of thing.
Ninja.
Where it's like you weren't really sure. Yeah, like all of these like kung fu movies and ninja movies like kind of perpetuated that stereotype that it's like they almost had like fucking magical powers.
Ninja might disappear on your ass.
Yeah.
Where did he go? Where the fuck did that dude go?
Holy shit.
Throwing these stars at you that would kill
They're
you.
so good at that stuff that it's like they can do actual magic now. So I kind of, and like later
you might
on,
believe in Yashida Kim.
That's what I mean. It was that good. Like, he sold all those, like, fucking VHS
tapes to kids, yeah. A sheet of Kim.
Of how, like, a ninja is going to sneak into your house by, like, you know, crouching and, like, walking under the window.
Going underneath your window, then he
which
comes
only
in your
a
house.
ninja can do, as everyone knows.
Only a ninja could throw dirt in your face.
Right.
You know, and disappear because he went around you. You know, even though, like, that's a dance move, dude. Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Shit, I just did that just now when I came back from the bathroom.
Yeah.
Tom didn't know I was there.
Yeah, well, man, you're like a ninja.
I just snuck in.
A sheet of Kim. He's selling.
See, I watched that videotape. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I took away some valuable lessons from that. Holy shit. We did a whole fucking show about that.
Look.
Well, it wasn't just about him, but look what.
Hold on. What are they talking about now? Ben, I'll tell you what. If you liked that movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I got another one for you. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but you will love this one. It's called The Art of Self-Defense. All right, and it's a kung fu movie, but it's comedy, but it's also very serious, and it's basically based upon the same kind of story of the fucking Black Dragon Fighting Society, Count Dante, very much along the lines of like Count. If you know who Count Dante is, if you ever bought any comic books when you were a little kid, they were always trying to sell. Back in the '70s, they were trying to sell you Count Dante's shit. But that guy was real. He was a hairdresser and a kung fu dude. And he had a dojo in Chicago. And he was in the Chicago dojo wars. They were killing each other.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because look, people watch Cobra Kai nowadays.
Yeah.
Which is a great show, by the way. And it's like they think that's a little exaggerated. It's not. They're basing it on that.
They're basing it on...
I kind of feel like they're partially basing it on that stupid
dojo
shit from
wars.
the 80s. Or whenever.
Yeah.
Was that the 70s? 70s or 80s.
Count Dante was a crazy motherfucker who tried to make it in Hollywood. They kicked him out because he was too crazy. Evidently, Bruce Lee knew about him. And he invented the dim mak, which is like the death touch. And he would sell you through comic books the secret to the death touch.
It's going to touch you.
And he had a dojo with a bunch of fucking dudes in it. And they were fighting other fucking dudes in other dojos. And fucking... They got attacked by the other guys and stabbed and killed. They fucking had a whole trial and everything. They all got found not guilty, though. Because they were defending themselves. But fucking Count Dante made a bomb and blew up the other guy's dojo. Blew the window out of another guy's dojo. It's quite a story. Well, Art of Self-Defense is like kind of loosely based on a situation like that. A weird-ass fucking karate dojo.
Seriously, dudes should not be allowed to do anything, ever. Because look how it turns out. Look at what they always end up doing. It's just...
Yeah, he's talking about Deadliest Man Alive, exactly.
Yeah.
Deadliest Man Alive. He says, he had the Black Dragon Fighting Society. You could join through the comic books, yep.
Yeah, they had all those ads.
Dante got arrested trying to dynamite another fucking dojo, yeah. He got a pretty elitist, yeah. I don't think...
Is he still alive?
No, died. He died.
Yeah, I thought he did. We did a show... Well, we didn't do a show just about him, but we were talking about...
He died mysteriously...
We talked about him on our Bullshito
Yeah,
show.
Bullshito. He died mysteriously. Probably had something to do with drugs. I don't remember exactly how he died. Countdown, but I think he was just found dead, died in his sleep or something. And he was still young, but he was taking weird drugs, and he had a bunch of head injuries, and something happened to him.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Something happened to him. He died.
Something happened to him.
That's what happened.
Yeah. He had an afro. He's a white dude with an afro and a beard, and he was kind of ahead of his time in a way, because he was like he was also a guy who kind of was awaiting a new fighting fucking platform that ended up being Ultimate Fighting or MMA. You know, it's kind of what they were going towards. he wanted a new way of fighting martial arts, so it wasn't as restrictive. But he was crazy. But he was evidently pretty good. He was good and crazy.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah, he was good and he was crazy.
Ben says, quoting, Count Dante died in his sleep of internal hemorrhaging caused by a bleeding ulcer.
Yeah, that's right.
May 26, 1975.
That's right. Bleeding ulcer. In his stomach, I guess.
That's usually where ulcers are. Well, not always.
No, they could be on your lips. They
but
could be
usually.
anywhere.
Usually the ones that kill you, that would be in
Right.
your abdominal area, I would feel like.
Yeah, and I think he was young. He was only in his 30s.
Well, he died in 1975.
Yeah.
So he wasn't
I think he was 30
that old.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, like I said, we didn't do a show just about him specifically, but we did a show called Bullshido.
Think about
where we talked about him and Ashita Kim and all those kind of weirdos.
Evidently, Count Dante's students outlived him, and they loved him. They thought he was great. They thought his fucking dojo was great, and the philosophy behind it. He was one of the only martial artists that would accept black students, and a lot of his students were black, and that's how they learned kung fu. Because the Chinese wouldn't teach it to anybody but the Chinese, and he was white, so he was teaching it to non-Chinese, including blacks.
Yeah, Ben said he was only 35 when he died.
Only 35, yeah.
Yeah.
He could have been something had he not died. He'd have been something.
Possible dim mock death?
Dim mock. Well,
somebody came in and was like, shh.
Yeah, okay, now, for those of you who don't know what dim mock is, dim mock is what he called death touch.
Yeah.
It's when he could hit you in a way, this very special way, in a special place, at a special time, where later on, eventually, you die from it.
Right.
From complications of it. Well, shit, that's hard to prove, isn't it?
It is.
You could fight some dude.
The beauty of it, isn't it?
You could fight some dude, get your ass kicked. 3 years later, that dude dies, and you go, got his ass.
I did that shit.
I touched him.
I did that.
I
shit.
touched him in the fight. I fucking did that shit, and
I did it on purpose.
Took 3 fucking years.
That's right.
Got it.
I did it like the slow burn kind of way.
Slow burn, yeah.
For plausible deniability purposes.
Yeah.
That's why you do it like that.
So, fucking some of. So, Cobra Kai comes out. I watched it. It was fun. It was a good series.
Yeah, I like Cobra Kai.
But there's something about the old school, my old school fantasies of fucking Kung Fu that kind of take me back the way I used to feel about it. It's... I can't believe that I believe some of the stuff that I
can't believe it
actually
either, so.
kind of thought maybe that might work. But I like to put myself back in that earlier time and feel what it was like. And really, Art of Self-Defense brought me more back to that.
That really did capture that kind of
Art of
mindset,
Self-Defense
didn't
is
it?
a fucking great one.
Yeah.
Man, if you haven't seen Art of Self-Defense, you got to see it.
Tammy says, 42 years later, he dropped dead.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then Ben said, damn sneaky ninjas.
Yeah. Ninjas.
I'm going to start claiming that. Now, every time some motherfucker I don't like dies, I would be like, yeah, I did that shit.
Yeah.
I just did it in a super sneaky way that I'm not going to tell you about.
And
it's top secret.
Yeah. I also believe that ninjas existed. You know what I mean?
And they don't.
They don't.
At least not the way that they're portrayed in the media.
No. And they didn't even exist the way the Japanese thought that they existed. The Japanese believed that there were ninjas.
Did we talk about that on the Bullshido show? Or
yeah.
didn't we? Actually, I think we did a whole show about ninjas.
Yeah. The Japanese of the 1900s, early 1900s, believed in ninjas. But they're misunderstanding what they're reading. The shinobi and ninjutsu and all that, it just means special operations, basically. There were no ninjas. When you go back into Japanese history, where the shinobi legend or the shinobi idea came from were references to guys in your army setting fire to your enemy's storehouses before the battle. That's normal. That's normal fucking
Battle tactics.
Battle tactics.
Yeah.
That's all that was. They're talking about scouts and recon. You know, I'm from a recon platoon, but they're talking about scouts and reconnaissance type activities, which in Japanese feudal warfare that was hardcore shit. But it was standard back then to do that. Over time, through the translations, the Japanese rereading this hundreds of years later, they're reading into it, thinking that armies hired ninjas to sabotage their enemies before the war would happen, or before the battle. That's not what it says. What they're saying is that we were attacked. Basically, where it's coming from, stories like we were attacked by these guys, enemy guys. They burned our shit up and burned the fucking rice storehouse up. Fucking a week before we got attacked by the main army. That's standard shit.
Yeah, that's
standard shit.
Unusual.
Right. It's you as a general say, okay, we're gonna fight these motherfuckers in a couple weeks.
Well, you want them to be.
We're gonna weaken them first.
Right.
Go down there and burn up all their fucking food.
Yeah.
And then you take your hand-picked, trusted men to go down there and go do that. And then they come back. Okay, they'll be nice and weak next week. Yeah, they're gonna be hungry next week. Okay, that's when we'll attack. That's all they're doing.
Which is just common sense.
It's just common sense, battle tactics. That's all they were talking about. And from those legends came the idea of shinobi or ninja.
John Gore said, next you'll be saying there's no such thing as Jedis.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about those movies that they made back in the 80s, all those ninja movies. Especially those ones that fucking one guy makes that Shitcase Cinema is always talking about. The dude that has the headband that says
From
ninja
Kawasaki
on it,
Ninja.
which is the Kawasaki Ninja motorcycle logo.
Yeah.
Like, they bought those, and it's like, do they even know? Like, they probably saw those at a garage sale or something. They're like, oh my god, it says Ninja right on it.
Yeah.
We need to get those.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, that's a motorcycle, dude.
Yeah.
Like, do you know that? Or...
And only in America was it called the Ninja.
So maybe they don't know.
Yeah, the Japanese didn't call it the Ninja back in Japan. They were like, we're not going to call that a Ninja. It'd be like us calling it a gangster or something.
How cool would that be if a car was called like the Ford Ford Gangster?
Ford Gangster, right? Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, it was never called the Ninja in Japan. It was only called that in the United States. It was a market name, but yeah. And then the whole thing about ninjas wearing black clothes and doing no, there were no ninjas. And what they're talking about there is that in Japanese theater, in kabuki theater, the stagehands were all black against a black background.
Yeah, so people
when
couldn't
they moved
see
sets,
them, so they
people
could move
see
things
it
around. Sure.
And in certain,
they do that here too.
They do it, yeah. In certain combat scenes in Japanese traditional theater, if the hero of the story is fighting the enemy, sometimes the enemy is not portrayed. The enemy is shown as invisible. So that way you just focus on the hero doing the fighting. On stage, he's swinging, and a guy's in a bunch of damn black suits are holding things up that he's hitting and fucking dancing around him and stuff. So that evolved into, well, ninjas wear black. Look, he's being attacked by an invisible force. Invisible foes, ninjas. If you know anything about black, or you have anything about any military experience, black is not camouflage.
No.
You put on something black and you go into a fucking wooded area, even at night.
Everybody's going to see your ass.
They see you. It stands out. What's better is like something like Marpat, which is fucking green. Different greens, browns, and tans. Just a mottled color. Modeled and broken up to break up your silhouette. So it's more of a pattern than it is color. Black will give you a straight outline. You'll see him pretty well.
Yeah, it's like, well, that is clearly the shadow outline of a person.
Man. Right, yeah. Right. But it looked good on stage.
Sure.
So that's telling you that the people that made up the ninja stories didn't have field experience. They saw this on stage.
Right. And thought it looked cool.
And thought it looked cool.
So they're gonna.
That'd be the equivalent of seeing it on TV. They saw it on TV.
And put it in a
and put it in, and then wrote about it. Right.
Right. And like it was a real thing.
Like it was a real thing.
But we've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. Shit's on TV and in movies. It's not.
Yeah.
Real life.
Most people their whole concept of warfare is informed to them by TV and movies. That's not the way it really is. In no case.
Well, that's kind of true of everything.
Yeah.
Honestly. Well, because like I said, in fiction, certain things work well for storytelling purposes to get people to watch your movie or your TV show that, obviously don't have, don't have an equivalent in real life.
Right.
So, they don't always do it on purpose. It's just they're just doing it for dramatic purposes. Because, if we show this as it really was, it wouldn't look that exciting, or, you know what I mean? Because a lot of things, if you see them in real life, like if you see them in a movie, like a shootout or something like that, holy shit, it looks like super exciting. But if you see it in real life, it's really not that exciting.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not, it's just generally not. It
Yeah,
doesn't look that cinematic, is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dudes have all these badass fantasies about what a gunfight's like. Look at security footage, or watch footage from a helicopter, a police helicopter, of police moving in on a suspect who's fighting the police, and watch how they gun him down. It's not cinematic at all. He looks like a fucking fool.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not cinematic.
And from his point of view, it probably seemed pretty cool, but it didn't. It didn't look cool on film.
Woo, that's all. Getting shot by the cops.
Yeah, you look like a fucking idiot, dude. You just got shot up by nothing over a fucking expired license plate, you idiot. It's that stupid.
Yeah, you have to. If you're making a movie about something, you have to give dramatic heft. You have to give dramatic heft to the shit.
Right.
It can't just be realistic shit where it's I got pulled over for a broken taillight and then things escalated and then I got killed in a shootout.
Well, another thing that civilians are easily duped by is that they think warfare is technological, and it isn't. Not at all. They think, well, you can never beat us. We're America. We got fucking jets that go Mach 3 and all. We have tanks that can stop this and that. You have to have stuff like us to beat us. No, we've been getting our ass kicked by dudes in flip-flops and sandals and AK-47s with 80 IQs. We've been getting our ass whipped by them since the 1960s. Okay? Because warfare is not technological. It's about endurance. You fought the Vietnamese and you just killed them and killed them and killed them, but they just never surrendered. And you didn't make any difference. No matter how many bombs you dropped, no matter what kind of tanks you put there, it didn't matter. They just persisted. And then we left. Because you can't do anything with them.
That's what I mean. It's just kind of the person that can, take the most punishment.
Whoever can out-endure. That's all it is. It's more of a battle.
That's kind of the
will.
truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Whoever can put up with more shit.
Yeah.
Is the one that's eventually
We had all this technology over Iraq and Afghanistan. They whipped our asses. We left. Because they just out-endured.
Well, and the thing is, they had more motivation to do that because, we live here.
Yeah, this is their house.
So right. It's just kind of so we're just going to, fucking dig in and, you're always kind of, pissing up a rope doing that kind of crap.
You can't really enforce your will on people using these machines. That's not how it works. That's why they wanted mind control so much. With propaganda. Man, those strawberries are good.
I haven't eaten one yet.
Moonshine strawberries.
Yeah, we still have this strawberry moonshine that we bought a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we're kind of drinking it up.
The strawberries have been soaking in moonshine for fucking months.
Yeah, this moonshine's been in our fridge for a long time. The thing about it is that they have this. What brand is this? Is this that Tennessee brand?
I forgot. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but they have a bunch of different flavors. They have it at our liquor store, and it's really good. It comes in a mason jar and everything. But I will say that I feel it's a little overpriced. I know it's very artisan, and it's it's a small, I think it's called, what is it called? Old Smoky. Old Smoky, yeah. Right? Yeah. So I know they're a small company and everything like that. So I'm not going to begrudge them charging. But I'm going to say that for a mason jar size, they range from like $18 to $20, which is slightly overpriced, I feel like. But they do have like a lot of really good flavors. We got this strawberry one, that's good. I think the best one we've got so far wasn't it was it butter pecan?
Yeah, the butter pecan was the best one.
Oh, that butter pecan.
But it was weak though.
Yeah, but it was still really good.
Yeah.
It kind of tasted like Bailey's.
Bailey's ice cream, yeah.
But with a slightly different flavor. But it was kind of along those lines.
They're talking about...
But I noticed that in the liquor store, I was down there the other day getting some vodka, and they had like a whole rack, like by the cash register, and they had a whole bunch of different flavors.
Yeah. They're talking about camouflage patterns in there. Hold on.
Yeah.
Camouflage patterns, in my personal experience, and I got a lot of experience in the field with infantry units, camouflage patterns only matter when the camouflage is clean. See, when you first go into the field, you're pretty clean. The camouflage might matter, but after you've been out there for a few weeks, you're pretty fucking dirty. It doesn't matter what the pattern was, man. Fucking whatever the color of the mud is, that's what color your uniform is. It starts to fucking kind of grind into you after a while. So it doesn't have to be camouflage. It could be solid as long as it's the right color. I found that coyote is good. Coyote is a good color. Fucking Ranger green or OD greens are good. With certain kinds of tan, depending on whatever whatever environment it is. And after a while, when you're out there after a few days, fucking roll around in the dirt and the mud, it just, the fucking environment just kind of becomes part of your uniform. It becomes camouflage anyway. It doesn't, dirt is camouflage. You're gonna get dirty.
I mean, just like in Predator, you just like fucking roll around in a mud
Yeah.
puddle and you're golden.
Yeah, I like camouflage and Ranger green. It doesn't have to be a camouflage pattern, just as long as it's a subdued color. After all that rain and dirt and all that shit, fucking, it's gonna become camouflage.
Tammy says the Hubs just brought home a pint of real moonshine. His uncle got a quart from a friend.
Yeah.
That stuff is nasty.
That's my next one, man.
I like the flavors better.
That's the next thing. I've been making yogurt. Yogurt's fun to make. Just takes a long time.
Makes it in the Instant Pot.
Makes it in the Instant Pot.
It's good.
Next thing I want to do is I want to make a still. I'll make vodka. Vodka or moonshine. And it's
make some cheap ass vodka.
Yeah. It's legal here in the United States. You can make all the booze you want. You can't sell it.
Yeah, as long as you don't sell it.
But
like if you just make it for your personal use,
for yourself, you can do it.
Then you can do it. It's all right. But
it's probably that way in most countries.
I imagine it.
You can make it, you just can't sell it because they want federal tax stamps on the shit.
Well, yeah, I get it. They want their cut.
Yeah, don't their cut.
I'm just saying that it's like, but yeah, Old Smoky. My sister told me she had gone and toured the Old Smoky factory, and she told me that they had a flavor. What'd she say it was? It was some kind of coffee flavor, like espresso something, and she said it was really, really good. But that's one that I haven't seen. Although I have noticed that every time I go to the liquor store, they have more flavors. So, like, when I went down there the first time, they had the strawberry, they had pickle. Like, they had one with, like, pickles in it, like dill pickles. They had the butter pecan, and then they had one other one that I don't remember what it was. But now they have, like, a whole rack. And I didn't even see what all the flavors were. So maybe they did have the espresso one. I'm going to have to look for that next time. But I will say that I don't know if I can justify paying like $20 for a mason jar of it, you know? Because I mean, look, for $25.99, I can get a huge thing of Sky vodka. So, you know, the moonshine's good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's a little, and the liquor store that we have down here down the street, which is just like a dinky little local liquor store. It's the same price as it is at ABC, because at ABC it was $18, $19 also. Ben,
the only camouflage that really fucking mattered that I ever saw was a sniper ghillie suit. That motherfucker could be right there 10, 15 meters from you. You have a problem seeing him. Because he's been rolling around in tree leaves, stuck in it and everything. He looks like part of the environment. But just some pattern on a uniform, it's not that effective. If you're far away, it just looks like green anyway. If you're close up, you can see him. You can see him and the pattern. Solid colors, just like Ranger green and...
So it's probably better to just like save money on the camouflage and just like roll around in the mud.
Roll around in the mud, yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, that was one thing that Predator called it.
That's what I'm saying.
The movie Predator.
Well, that's why I thought of Predator.
Well, I'm talking about the Predator 1.
Yeah, that's what I said.
They were wearing Marpat pants. BDU pants. But they had just coyote colored jackets. Dutch and Poncho, they just wore coyote colored little shirts. It wasn't camouflage pattern. It was just in a camouflage color. That was good enough. And if you were after you'd been out there for a couple of days, even though they were only going to be out there, I think for 24 hours, I think that was the mission statement. It's not really time enough to get dirty. It takes like fucking 3 or 4 days to get really dirty. It just all starts to become the color of the environment. And that's good enough. Because camouflage only works at a distance. Doesn't work close up.
Yeah, I mean, like if they're right up in your face.
Yeah,
right, they're right there. You're gonna see them.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's probably better just wear like gray or tan shit and then just roll around in the fucking mud, or stick some leaves on yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
But militaries use those patterns though, partially fashion, and partially it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
It's true.
At a distance where it becomes effective, it all looks like one color anyway, if you ask me. You know, green or brown.
Well, like I said, don't ask me because I can't see shit.
Right, yeah.
So, like, my vision is getting so bad. Tammy says, the brand Sugarland Moonshine is good. We get ours from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I feel like there's a lot of good moonshine coming out of Tennessee these days. Because I think that's where Old Smoky comes from, too.
Yeah. I'm just going to make some moonshine.
Go for it.
Yeah.
You gonna make it in the Instapot?
No. I'll buy a still. They got stills. They got stills. You can get a still off of fucking Amazon.
He has been talking about getting a still for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, man, if you can brew our own vodka and like save us some money, that would be good.
Yeah, just use fucking sugar, or fucking potato peels, or fucking rice.
Because damn,
all different ways you can do it.
Like, we don't drink a lot, but okay, but we do drink a lot. So, how much vodka do we usually buy in a week?
We buy 2/5. We buy 2/5 a month, more or less.
So that's not too bad. That's not that bad.
$20-something worth. Probably.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
I think it's I usually get Sky
Maybe
if I go,
$30,
which is $25.99.
So about $50 a month
in vodka.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, we drink on the show, and we've also started drinking on if we do Stream Mate, because that kind of helps loosen me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I usually like have a drink on there too, but. So, Tammy says they have what's called Sipping Shine in cream flavors. Nana pudding, strawberry and cream.
Sounds
Yum.
good. I saw Nana pudding.
Tom would be all about the
I saw Nana pudding fucking up the store. This brand makes it. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like bananas.
They have Nana pudding at the Chinese buffet.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried it though.
I told Tom about that. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Go get some of that shit. Like on the dessert thing. I don't like bananas, and I don't like banana pudding. So revoke my Southern card. That's okay. That's fine. I don't really like bananas. But well, it's not so much that I don't like bananas. Like if there's any other fruit available, I will eat that over a banana. I'll eat a banana if that's all that's available. But what I particularly hate is anything that's like banana flavored, especially that fake banana flavor. Oh my god, I hate that so much. I hate that fake banana flavor. It's so gross. But I'm not like a big fan of like actual bananas either. So my grandmother used to make Nana pudding like all the time with vanilla wafers and all that. I never ate it. Never ate it. I don't know why. And it's like, and the thing about it is that I was really, really picky as a kid, like a picky eater. And I eventually got over that. Like when I was in my, late teens and 20s, I was just kind of like, fuck it. And I would just now pretty much eat anything within reason. And I've even like started eating some things that I hated before. Like I hated peas. I could not fucking stand, like even the sight of them made me want to throw up. But I actually did finally get over that, like largely through Tom making like, split pea soup and stuff like that. So I kind of got over that. But bananas, I never got into it. I'm just not into banana stuff, man. I'm just not. I don't know what it is.
Maybe I should break you of that.
But it's just I don't hate them. I'm just like not that enthused about banana flavored things.
What I do is
I like a lot of other fruit. I like a lot of other fruit. Like I like orange stuff. I like pineapples. I like.
This is what I do.
Watermelon.
I get some Rice Krispie cereal with thinly sliced bananas in it.
That doesn't sound good either.
Oh, it's fucking great.
It's not good.
I've had that first.
No, I've had that before.
Well,
I don't like that either.
It's been a long time.
I just don't like bananas. I just don't.
Yeah. All right.
I just don't like bananas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't know. I just don't like the whole flavor of them.
Yeah.
There are a few things, like I said, I've eaten a lot of things now that like I wouldn't have eaten before.
Yeah.
But bananas, I can't get into it. I just can't get into bananas.
Look, we've been streaming for 3 hours.
No, we've been streaming for 4 hours.
Okay, let's go ahead and shut it down.
Tammy says, I like banana pudding if it's just made. I don't like when the wafers get soggy.
I like it when the wafers get soggy.
Now, I like Nilla wafers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. But I really just don't like bananas.
I like them to get kind of soft. I like the wafers to get soft. I like it both ways, though. I mean, I would actually take the soft wafer fucking pudding and then take fresh wafers and crush it and put it on top and then spray some more whipped cream on it, too. You know. But look, we got to go.
That sounds like
we've been streaming for 4 hours.
Well, we're having a good time.
Okay.
All right. So, hopefully you guys have a good...
It's almost midnight.
Yeah, it's 11:30. 11:25.
Yeah.
All right. So, hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Like I said, I think what we're going to do... Do you want to do that this weekend or what?
What?
Where we'll do a movie review on Monday instead of a haunting?
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to do that or...
Yeah.
Okay. You don't seem enthused one way or the other.
I can only answer once. So, okay, we'll do that.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we will do a movie review. I don't know what movie it is because we haven't watched one yet. But we'll do it on Monday instead of Sunday, instead of the haunting show. Because I think we're going to kind of give the haunting shows a break for a little while. So we'll move the movie review to Monday. So let's do that. So we'll see you guys again on Monday talking about whatever movie we're going to talk about, which we don't even know yet. So it'll be a surprise for us as well. So hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Like I said, we might be streaming on Stream 8 some of the time, so if you want to toddle over there and see it, you may do that. And please talk to us if you show up. So have a good weekend, you guys, and we will see you on Monday evening. Good night. Oh, Tammy said, would Tom get pegged while eating Nana pudding? Man, this is she's got like a whole series of videos planned. I need to write all this shit down. We're going to make videos of all of this. All right, so we will see you guys again on Monday for a movie review. So, good night and have a good weekend.